rise to the challenge, above obstacles,
Yes!
above perceptions,
Redinger, implement the pass on the top lane.
above it all.
Let's go!
If so, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
You spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at zero. New NOS, zero sugar. Zero sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
You say you can't wait to get to the track to pick up the latest World of Outlaws gear? Slide on over to worldofoutlaws.com to get your NOS energy drink, sprint cars, and Case late model hats, decals, hoodies, and other great souvenirs. Buy $50 worth of merchandise and get free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. Why stand in line? Buy your Outlaw gear online. Visit the Outlaw General Store online today at worldofoutlaws.com.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
This is a Dirt Vision special presentation. The best drivers, the best coverage. It's time to watch the greatest shows on dirt on Dirt Vision.
Well, good afternoon, Knoxville Nationals fans. How are you guys doing today? There you go, good. My name's Tony Bokhoven. My co-host tonight, Stu McCarthy, and our first guest here on the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show is none other than Gio Scelzi. Gio, let's talk about the car first of all. New paint scheme or graphics or whatever you want to call it this week. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the orange is obviously so iconic for us, and Nationals is very special. You want to do something cool and something different. So we talked about reversing the orange and the blue, but Sheldon's kind of already got that going with the blue chrome. So changed it up completely. Austin Prock painted the helmet for me. Sparko killed the fire suit, so I'm excited to debut it.
Austin Prock, the funny car driver.
Yes, indeed.
He's a helmet painter.
He's a jack of all trades.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so he painted his own helmet that he races with, and I kind of shamed him into it. Said, I'm not going to pay you, and I need this done in a month. So luckily he did it. The gold match is perfect, and he did a great job.
That's pretty cool. One of the fun things about that, I think, for fans is, you know, they hope that you come out with a new T-shirt, and sometimes there's die-casts and things like that. I assume you have a T-shirt this week?
Yep, got T-shirts. Die-casts take a long time to make, so if we do well, we'll probably run a pre-order and make some die-casts.
So, you know, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you have a place in Iowa here now. So can we consider you one of us now, or do we have to still consider you a California guy?
No, I am a native. I'm still from California, Fresno, obviously, but live in Grimes now, so I love it here. It's everyone's so welcoming. My neighbor mows my grass without even me asking,
wow.
So it's very cool to live here, and it's a different pace than Fresno, but I love it.
So having your car owners from Des Moines and most of your sponsors locally around here, how important is it to you and your team that this week is right, from the draw to Saturday night?
No, it's huge. First off, thank you to Eric Arnold, John McCoy, and Carlton. They got us switched to Wednesday. We were initially going to go Thursday, and we have 2 of our sponsors flying in today only to race. And obviously, like you said, all of our sponsors almost being from Des Moines is very important for this race. And the May show seems to always get rained out, or the April show, but June got in, which was great for us. Then got to run a local show as well in July. So biggest race of the year for us and for everyone. So it's one you want to win for sure.
Gio, you mentioned just then about that you knew what Sheldon's scheme was going to be, colour scheme. So you guys out on the tour, do you actually talk about, hey, we're thinking about doing it this way, or is it all in-house and you just take the punt to go, hey, yeah, well, this is what we're going to do?
Yeah, gold is always kind of at Nationals, I feel like, just to have the shiny look to it. But it seemed like with the Outlaw Tour this year, it's the year of blue. Sheldon's blue, Donnie's blue, we're blue, so we all kind of run together. But no, I don't know. You get a design in your head. We have hundreds of them from Blackbeard that he's done, and Matt flips through them and says yay or nay on them, and this is one that he just did for us for Knoxville, and initially had kind of a yellow tint to it, and we went with the gold. So I think it looks awesome. Capital Science did a great job. They've done incredible on it.
You just mentioned Matt Barber. He's originally from St Mary's in Sydney, where I live these days, obviously down there in Australia. What's it like having someone like Matt Barber that used to crew on race cars back in Australia and then obviously come over here and crew, but now being one of the car owners of your team?
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse sometimes, I feel like, because you get Brett Nearing on one side of it that did not grow up around racing, that has a very business approach to it, and then Matt that has a more relaxed approach to it, but at the same time, you can't fake it. He knows what it takes to win races and knows what it takes to work on cars as well. So it's awesome to have both those guys helping us and owning the team, and it's been almost 5 years now I've driven for him, so I've definitely found a home with them, and it seem to be building throughout the years.
Is Matt hands-on, like suggesting different setups or anything? Does he stay clear of that and let you guys that are employed to drive the car and work on the car, or does he have an input?
Yeah, there's a fine line between that, I feel like, and obviously he wants to help, wants to stay involved, but he hired us all for a reason. So I think he's learned a lot with his business on that side of it, being a little bit more hands-off and giving the reins to the crew guys and the driver to make their own decisions and either sink or swim. So he's done an incredible job kind of just letting us do what we want to do.
I will ask this. Does he still speak like myself, like an Australian, or has he got that American twang?
Unfortunately, yes. No,
we're not that hard to understand.
Yeah, there's some things he says where I look at him sideways, but I feel like I have a bit of the slang down now.
Yeah.
So aside from the racing part, what's your favorite part of the Knoxville Nationals?
How long do you have?
You got about 8 more minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, where do I even start? From the people to the food trucks to, the fans being home. It turned into a home for me, like you said, and living in Grimes an hour away is nice to get to sleep in my own bed, which a lot of guys don't. Yeah. Racing with Bernie, obviously, we got to stay at the Cobblestone for 3 weeks, which was the All-Star show, now a local show, leading up to 360s and 410s. It's just the atmosphere when you roll in here. I get goosebumps on my arm talking about it, but there's nothing more than I want than to have a banner down the front stretch.
Yeah, when you walk down the front straightaway, I'm guessing you're like a lot of us. You kind of become in awe of some of the guys that you see hanging on those poles.
Oh, for sure, and to see the build-up through it from local shows in June, July, and building up to August, more and more people show up, and people take off work for this race. They put this on their calendar, and obviously you flew halfway across the world to come here, so it's incredible to see the turnout they get, and it's only growing.
I was talking with Danny Dietrich downtown last night, and he was talking about the fact that as he's gotten older, the staying out late and partying during the Nationals piece, he's kind of had to scale that back, right? Because you don't recover as quickly as you used to.
No, for sure. And I'm about that way now. Obviously, I haven't had a drink since 21 was the first drink I had. But no, Dingus is fun. My girlfriend, she camps here, and she gets there quite a bit. But man, it's you do work, but getting 2 days off, hopefully 2 days off, not having a race Friday is cool to come here and see everyone you only really see once a year and welcome them to Knoxville.
When you're walking around here and you see people with your T-shirts on and your stuff like that, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's the coolest thing ever. It's still kind of weird being stopped for autographs, and when people say, hey, I normally don't turn around because I don't think they're talking to me,
yeah,
but
right.
I remember riding on my dad's mini bike, between his legs in front of him, and he would get stopped for an autograph, and I'd say, Dad, don't stop, keep going. I want to go to the camper and I want to go to sleep, but you guys are the reason we're here. There's no more true statement than that, and you're the reason we get to race for so much money and the huge events that we have. So it seems like sprint car racing is on the up and up, and it's only growing.
So I'm guessing most people know who your father is, Gary Scelzi, the NHRA champion. What happened at that day when there was a fork in the road when you decided, no, I want to go race roundy rounds instead of go straight?
So my dad's thought, there's there's really nothing you can drag race under 16. I mean, J.R. Todd was an opposite product of that. He raced junior drags just when he was younger and came up that route. But his thought was teach us car control, and whether it's a dirt bike or a go-kart. And then when we were of age, we could either switch back to drag racing or go sprint car racing. And obviously we chose dirt racing. So Austin Prock dabbled his feet in dirt racing, and obviously got a ride with John Force Racing now, and has made a great career out of that. So drag racing is cool. If the opportunity ever presented itself, I might get behind the wheel of one, but doesn't excite me a whole lot. Those things are pretty much bombs on wheels. So this is a little bit safer, I feel like.
I think it's funny, last year we talked to Tony Stewart a little bit about that, and he said, he thought it was tough just watching it, and he had no idea how tough it was till he actually got in there.
Oh, for sure. And I think, what people don't understand is those cars the engines are down to a bare block every time they run.
Yeah.
So, you have 4 rounds of qualifying and 4 rounds of elimination if you run all the whole weekend. And it really sucks when you make it to the final and lose because you've done as much work as the guy that won.
Sure.
So you see why those guys are cracking beers 30 seconds after they run the race, because it's a hard week of work for sure. But those guys are a different breed. A lot of those crew guys cross over back to sprint car racing. So Bob Curtis, my car chief, he worked on Top Fuel cars and said, man, that's too insane for me. I'm going back to sprint car racing.
It's amazing that the Top Fuel or drag racing in general, and like obviously I reckon Tony and yourself could sit here and talk for hours about, because you're a drag racer yourself. So it's a cool sport to watch and whatever like that. But I want to touch on something. Obviously, you guys being out on the road and you need to keep fit. When does your fitness advisor, your brother, your fitness coach turn up?
Oh, well.
Fitness advisor.
Yeah, that's a heck of a title for him. But magically, when I started on the pole this race, he turned up, which I thought was kind of weird. But now he's busy at home running my mom's business, Red Rails Transportation. So he might make an appearance. He comes out whenever he can, but he's super busy at home, being a 2-time dad now.
Yeah, and in the gym himself.
Yes, working constantly.
Yeah.
So talk us through this week. So obviously qualifying is unbelievably important, but what do you have to do mentally to get ready, to be on top of your game come qualifying night?
Yeah, you can stress yourself to death about a pill draw or qualifying, but really I think if you time good and you get through your heat race, almost the stress is off there. I feel like you saw Brad Sweet last year have a great night and then blow a tire and crash in the feature and still make the show locking in. So that shows you how important qualifying and heat race points are. Feature is important obviously, but a feature is just kind of a cherry on top of how your beginning of your night went. So if you can time good, transfer through your heat race. B mains are always stacked, and there's no lucky dog spot. There's no provisionals. You get what you get.
Who's the guy you got to beat this week?
Ooh, that's tough. Obviously, David didn't run Cappy, but he's always a contender. Donnie, how can you count him out? Rico has been extremely fast. Last year, blew a tire, running second, I think, in the feature. But there's always kind of a dark horse. I feel like someone that you don't really expect to run great that does really good. So, 50 laps is a long time. It's really 2 races there in the feature.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, we had about 2 minutes to go here. What is it about you California guys? Rico, you, Corey Day, lights out fast. What is it?
Good question. I think we all, got out of California quickly, and nothing against California, but all the tracks there are small and normally a little bit wet and on the rough side. But, getting out to tracks like this where the track's perfectly smooth, you have a nice top, nice bottom, most of the time a middle, it's something you have to adapt to. And this is a place I've really wanted to run well at. And sometimes you put a bit more effort into running a race like this and learning this racetrack more.
Is there things you've got to block out for this week, like going into these next 4 days? Are there things that you just mentally have to go, no, I've got to switch off or block out and not even worry about?
Oh, the place across the street. That's a big one. But no, I mean, I get to go home every night, so it gives me an excuse to not drink and be able to sleep in my own bed. And I feel like, you have to be mentally strong as well as physically strong to run this race. So it's something you can beat yourself up pretty much until next year. And for us, the whole year is a build up to this race. And then after this race, it's a build up for next year's race. So it's obviously tough. There's a lot of noise here and a lot of people, but, just setting aside the social media and focusing on your job is the most important.
Well, Gio, it's going to be an exciting week. There's a lot of guys like yourself that people are talking about are the contenders, right? And we wish you lots of luck. Looking forward to seeing the car on the track tonight or tomorrow night.
If you can find me tonight. Yep.
Tonight. Oh, we'll be watching for you. Ladies and gentlemen, wish him some luck. Gio Scelzi is going to try to qualify. Big night for him here tonight. Thanks, Gio. Stay tuned. When we come back, Tanner Holmes will be joining us on the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show.
Wanted the best, you got 'em for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Race fans, the World of Outlaws are powering into the Stockton Dirt Track for one night only. Friday, September 6th, see the greatest show on dirt superstars battle California's heroes. High speeds, huge horsepower, and wheel-to-wheel action. Tickets at worldofoutlaws.com or 844-DIRT-TICKS. Buy in advance and save. The World of Outlaws, Friday, September 6th, the Stockton Dirt Track. Be there.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
This is my 2017 Ford Edge with 123,000 miles. Recently, it became sluggish with a slight drop in gas mileage. It was recommended I add seafoam motor treatment in the gas every few weeks. After a few months, there was a noticeable improvement in the power, and it's more responsive when I give it gas. Happy customer here.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to seafoamworks.com.
Everybody's hooking up, getting down, tearing up their little town, loading up the cooler and heading south beach bound, working on their tan, koozie on a beer can, party every night, throwing up their hands. Ain't no crying in your beer. Ain't no she walked out the door. Ain't nobody broken hearted in country music anymore.
Hey Tony, now that you're driving in straight lines, you should try one of these. It will help you turn left again.
Well, Donnie, you should try one of these. Just like the lights, when it turns green, mash the gas. You might win another championship. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
And welcome back to the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show. Glad to have you with us here. Joining us now is Tanner Holmes. And Tanner, it's been a big week here for you so far. But let's get right to it. The DZ sponsorship, the car unveil over at the church yesterday. Talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, that was that actually all went better than expected. You know, we kind of put this whole thing together and, you know, wanted to kind of, obviously all the big teams, they kind of have their normal, hey, drop the cars for the year. And we just wanted to do it a little bit different, you know, try to incorporate where we're parked and just, you know, with our fan base, bring people in to see the car actually as we're sharing it with the world. And it was just really cool. So thanks to everyone that did come to that. That was like, you know, I'm probably the most nervous I've been all year. Like all sorts of things could have went wrong. We had the thing covered kind of, and it was windy and we were rolling it down the street. And, you know, so yeah, it was just really awesome and a chance to, like I said, kind of kick off our week here in Knoxville. You know, we've been out here, we've been racing, but, you know, Nationals, you know, everyone kind of came into town. So it worked out.
What a great deal landing a sponsor that's based in the Midwest here.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. You know, this is a great chance. Like they're going to have employees here at the races tonight. Of course, they've been involved with other drivers here before. And so, yeah, no, just been great. We've been spending a lot of time there over in Des Moines. And like I said, you know, having some of their people here at the races to be a part of our program.
If any of you have spent 2 minutes on the internet, you've probably seen some of his social media stuff. And I think that's one of the things that impresses me the most about you, aside from your ability to drive the race car, is your fan engagement is second to none. Talk us through, you know, how'd you get into that and what really drives you to keep doing that?
Yeah, so, you know, kind of when I was younger, I always, you know, I don't know, maybe the era or like my age group was just kind of when YouTube and everything was starting to become more popular and in front of, you know, more eyeballs. And so I always really liked it, you know, and watched a lot of people and was like, I don't really know why I couldn't do that, you know, right? I guess like we all have iPads or iPhones or whatever. And so I just started making some videos and didn't post them. And then eventually was like, you know what, well, I like racing, and I had watched other people on YouTube do like their unique thing, so I just wanted to share my unique thing with the world. And so that's kind of how it started back in 2016, and then spiraled, and I just kind of committed myself to it, to just continuing, and no matter what, through the good, the bad, and the ugly. But no, it's really worked out and just been a good opportunity for me to really grow my racing. You know, kind of, I'm from Oregon, you know, things aren't as popular where I come from. I didn't just grow up here close to Knoxville or, you know, in some of the hotbeds of sprint car racing. So I feel like we had to work a little extra hard to get to where we want to go, and that has just kind of been an outlet that's helped us do that.
I think that's one of the things that's been very interesting watching, kind of following along, is you don't just do it when you have a good night. There's been some nights where you can tell you don't want to be doing it.
Yeah, and that's just part of the job, you know, right? But like I said, I think that's why we just try to keep it real. You know, everyone likes to see the guy that wins, but, you know, I mean, there's going to be 107 guys that leave this place disappointed, you know, this year from Knoxville. So like I said, we just try to keep it real, like I said, through the highs and the lows. That kind of allows people too to ride with us and be excited or be disappointed or see me screw up or see me do something right. So
dump all the water on the ground.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like I said, we just try to keep it real. We really do. And so like I said, it's just a cool way for us to get to do that.
Tanner, with the way social media is these days, there's two people that come to mind the way they use social media properly in our sport of sprint car racing. There's yourself and Rico. The way you two like embrace the race fans and show them different things. How many hours do you think you put in each week to doing your social media?
Yeah, you know, so it's probably, I mean, it's no different than a normal job. Like, it's every bit of 40 or 50 or 60 hours. Like, I feel like, you know, especially in the hotbed of the season here, from the second we wake up to the second we go to bed, whether we're working on the race car, whether we're working on that, you know, kind of coordinating everything, or, you know, I just spend a lot of time in front of my computer, too much time. Yeah. But it's good. And like you said, yeah, Rico, he does a really good job. It's just a good chance for us to show, like I said, the behind the scenes of this. I think there's a lot of fans that show up, buy a ticket, and they don't really actually see what goes on. Like I said, they see the glory, but they don't see, you know, us working in 115-degree weather, or, you know, sweating our butts off all day, or building a backup car because we crashed the night before. So, like, all that's real, whether you're the top outlaw guy or you're a local guy trying to just race with them, you know?
Yeah. So with DZ, the new sponsor for you guys, when did the negotiations start? How long does that process take? Because it's not just a matter of sending an email and going, hey, look, can you give me, and I'm just throwing a number out here, $20,000 or whatever. How does that process work for you?
Yeah, so like when you're dealing with sponsorship, you know, of course, like for us, a lot of it has to do with all the work we do online and stuff, and promoting not just with our race car, but, you know, like a situation like that's every bit of 8 to 10 weeks to figure out, you know, what from, you know, me spending time with my designer to me in meetings trying to figure out, you know, what they want the car to look like, what colors we're going to do, how we're going to unveil it, how we're going to do what we did across the street. So it's just a lot of planning with all of our partners, and I think a lot of teams kind of experience that. But yeah, it's just got to be perfect, especially when you have, you know, so many people here that are going to see it.
And you're hands-on with that yourself?
Everything. I do everything. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I'm most hands-on on everything, and I always have been hands-on with my car, a little less now just because I have more on my plate, and I've been lucky. My sister, she does a lot, and I have a couple other crew guys that help throughout the year and have helped kind of build our operation. So, you know, so I haven't had to be as worried about that, but I still want to be involved because we're constantly, you know, trying to find speed, trying to do this, trying to do that. So you can never get too content, and, you know, you're kind of like an octopus holding up all your arms, you know, trying to make it work.
Yeah, like on the screen at the moment, we've got the picture of the car, the drone down there in the pits showing it. So it just looks really cool. And the one thing I've always noticed over the years with being announcing from like back in 1996 in Australia, it's one thing to see the car sitting still, looks good. But if it looks good when it's fast, that's when people notice you.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, this is just a big car contest, too, around here. You know, everyone, there's some really beautiful, beautiful rides. And for us, like, we're kind of hoping, even though that's something that's off the track, it's a fun thing kind of for the team. It kind of builds us together as well, and kind of brings us into the week. So I think that's a big part of it, too, to try to help our on-track performance.
Just got one more, Tony.
Yep.
Do you pinch yourself that you're at the Knoxville Nationals ready to contest the 63rd running?
Every once in a while, yeah. Like, I had those moments. I just try to take it in because it's super easy to take this for granted. You know, like I said, a couple years ago, I was just racing locally, you know, right? Never been to Knoxville. And I kind of do when I walk down that avenue of champions, you know, and I mean that. Like, you just kind of look around and, like, I even see Bobby Allen, you know, the guy I drove for last year. I see his and think about what it was like when he won this race. And so I just think it could be so life-changing. And that's what's so cool about this event. There's not a lot of races like that, you know. We always remember the guy that wins, but, you know, couple months later, it's forgotten. But at a race like this, like, you know, people still talk about some of those great races to this day.
So talk to us about the Bobby Allen piece. I think that's really interesting. What was that like when Bobby Allen or whomever from Shark Racing reaches out and says, hey, do you want to go on the road with us?
Yeah, no, with that being said, like, I think everybody needs to get the experience I got spending like a couple months on the road with Bobby Allen. That was, you know, impressive just to see how he does so much with so little. And even to this day, like, as they built Shark Racing and they got good sponsorship and they're doing it legit, but, you know, still just from, you know, just, like I said, just ways that he would pinch a little bit just to make it last a little longer. But it was great. I feel like it changed my whole entire racing career. It was kind of out of nowhere for me too. Yep. That was that happened the last night of the last Nationals last year, and then all of a sudden we were headed to Huset's and Jackson and some other shows. But yeah, it was just really cool and just a chance for me too to work with their crew guys that have been on the road and just really be in that setting. You know, I've only ever really driven my family car in the sprint car, so we've always just done stuff our way and what it took to make it work. So to see how a World of Outlaw team does it, you know, helped our notebooks, helped just everything. I mean, the list kind of goes on. So, and then now too, Bobby is just our lifelong friend. You know, I seen him today drawing a pill. So, you know, he's just, you know, he always calls and checks in on us, and you know, it's just, you know, been really good to our family.
I was going to ask you about that. What does it take as a driver when you've spent so much time racing with your family to now go race with not your family,
yeah,
right?
It's tough. I mean, you know, like I said, you're just used to doing things. And for me, like, I've just always tried to have an open mind, like, you know, because like I said, I've only ever seen it from my shoes. And so just to, like I said, see how an Outlaw team does it, you know, how they kind of prepare for the races. And obviously too, just to hop in a car that felt way different, like, and it felt good right away all of a sudden too, you know, just a completely different feeling, different package, motors, everything. And, you know, kind of showed me too that as a driver, I did have the ability to do it. Just, you know, with my own stuff, we were just working our way that direction. I just hopped in something where I was more just kind of part of the puzzle, if that makes sense, and was able to click in.
So talk to us. There's a lot of kids around here, and some of these kids race out at English Creek. Talk to us about your flat kart racing time, because like at the beginning of the season, you did a whole bunch of outlaw kart racing. How important is that to you to keep yourself sharp and fresh?
Yeah, you know, it is a lot of fun. And I try to do that for multiple reasons. One, like you said, to stay in the seat. Also, I have just a lot of, like, that's what I grew up doing. So all my friends still race that. So it's like no different than if, you know, all your friends were going to the movies. Like, you're going to go to the movies with them on a Saturday night. So we just still go race. And I have a lot of people that help and kind of take care of a car so I can just run when I want to. And but like I said, too, I think it also is important because there's some big races and it's a chance for us to do exactly what we do. You know, hang out with some of the young drivers and, you know, get a chance to, I guess, mentor them and just go. And there's some big paying races that are fun to go run as well. And you're just as...
And you won some of those.
Yeah. You know, like we had a big 10,000 to win show or whatever in Reno, Nevada. And there's thousands of people there. Like it was like a mini Tulsa shootout or something. So they have some of that. And like I said, just kind of keeps you busy because, I mean, no one wants to sit around for a couple months in the winter and not race.
How cool is it when kids come up to you and say that they watch your stuff, your social media, your videos and things?
It's awesome. You know, I think obviously you hear it so much and you get, you know, like, but it is really neat. And I don't take that for granted, you know, because people spend a lot of time following us. And like I said, even I do forget that from time to time. So I'm just very blessed that they do spend that time following along and get attached to our story. And I feel like a lot of times that's where I find myself wanting to do well for myself, but wanting to do well for them and the people that have legitimately believed in us, kind of as we went from, like I said, more of a local team to now, you know, trying to be more on this national level and at these big shows, you know, be faster and be competitive.
So we're in our final 2 minutes here. What's it going to take for you to have a successful Knoxville Nationals this week?
Well, I think you heard Gio talk about it. I mean, qualifying is everything. So we drew a good pill, so that'll help us. Last year we drew well, we qualified well, and we just didn't get through our heat race in the B. I think we finished one spot out, and if we would have made it into that show, we would have been in that cut of possibly being in the show or outside the show. So yeah, qualifying is going to be everything, and I think if you can just qualify in the top 5 and somehow get into the A main event and finish, then that's kind of the puzzle. Probably for a team like us. Of course, we would love to go quick time and go 8th to 1st in the heat and do all that.
Right.
That's kind of more of a rare deal. So just I think it's about qualifying well and being smart from there, but aggressive too, because you don't have time in these heat races to wait around. You do have to go forward. But yeah, I think like I said, if you can just put yourself in position, hopefully some luck falls your way and drive as hard as you can, it's possible.
Tanner, because you're so busy with everything you do, what do you do in your spare time away from racing? Do you have time or not? Like, do you like to play golf, or is there anything else you do, or you don't have time?
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like, I know everyone says this, but like we just do race. We just race. And between all the stuff we do, it does take up a lot. But yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes when we're not racing, just taking a second to breathe is nice from time to time. And but yeah, so no, like I said, we really enjoy what we do, and we're hoping to have a good Knoxville Nationals.
Well, Tanner, we wish you tons of luck.
Awesome.
We're so happy that you and your family have made the trip out to Iowa and have spent a few weeks here with us at Knoxville. Good luck this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you
guys
guys so much.
Most of all.
Seriously.
Tanner Holmes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take another quick break on Dirt Vision. When we come back, Buddy Kofoid will join the show.
If this is your idea of ladylike, you're gonna fit right in. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Who's it gonna be? Evan Dissian steals it here tonight.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
How'd I do?
Great if you're not looking at the clock.
Sure you got that? I had to be faster than that, right? 100% NOS, zero sugar coating. New NOS, zero sugar. Get after it.
This copyrighted Dirt Vision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
And welcome back to the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show. Glad to have those of you here in the crowd. Glad to have you with us today. Beautiful day here in Knoxville as we get ready to kick off the Knoxville Nationals here. And joining us now, the driver of the Roth Motorsports number 83 or 83 Junior or whichever it is on the roster, I don't know, Buddy Kofoid. Buddy, thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, no, it's good to be here. Like you said, weather's good. You know, couldn't be a better start for the best week of the year.
So we're just talking here a little bit before we get going, and big night, right? And it's easy to psych yourself out. And what do you do besides coming on this show to kind of keep your mind occupied with other things than just marinating in what you have to do tonight?
Honestly, I try to treat most anything as if it's a normal day or a normal race, even though it's the biggest race of the year. But, you know, I like to go to the shop and hang out when I can and, you know, help out if need be and just be there. And then was at the t-shirt trailer for a couple hours and just hanging out, trying to soak it all in, and just get ready.
You know, there's some iconic cars in our sport, and you're driving one of them. What's that like for you? Is it added pressure, or is that not so much as just, hey, you had to represent the Roth team? That's a big deal, big responsibility.
Yeah, it's I haven't thought about it too much. I feel like same thing. You just, at the end of the day, you just got to go to work and do the best you can. And but you know, being able to drive an iconic car is really special for me. And you know, I feel like I've gotten to drive for a handful of iconic cars in my careers. You know, with driven other great sprint cars, but also driven for KKM and the midgets for a few years. So having that, you know, iconic prestige, I guess, on your back is, you know, something that I've tried to deal with too, and just kind of get used to. But you still got to race and do your job. So racing for Dennis Teresa Roth has been really special. You know, and to have Toyota and Mobil 1, who I've been with for 4 going on 5 years now, has been really good to have it all come together, and race with the Outlaws has been a dream come true.
You're fortunate enough to have been to Australia when you were, I think, well, you were 17 or 18 when you first come down to Australia, I think it was. You're only young. What was that experience like, coming halfway around the world and going and racing at Parramatta City Raceway?
So, yeah, so my first year I was 16. I just turned 16. So I was waiting to turn 16. I think that was the age to go over there and race. So I just turned 16 a couple weeks prior. And then flew over there with a friend and spent 50 days over there without family or friends or really anything. Wow. So that was my first experience as far as being out on my own. And then really ever since I turned 17, I've moved out of home. So I've been on the road or on my own for a while now and just gotten used to it. But, you know, went there at 16 and got to race Parramatta, thankfully, before it unfortunately shut down. So that was really special, and got to race the Classic. And you know, then went to New Zealand a couple times in between then, and then got to go back to Australia after Chili Bowl for the Downings, and had a pretty good showing there. Unfortunately, had some rainouts, but finished 7th in the Classic, and so that was really cool. And it's always, you know, that's your guys' Knoxville Nationals, so you know, seeing the amount of people there and how everyone sits around the track is always, for me, even eye-opening. Even though we have events like this, it's still eye-opening and special to be able to compete at an event like that. So, but yeah, just been really fortunate to go to Australia and a couple times New Zealand, 4 or 5 times, and you know, get to race midgets for 3 years full time and travel the country, and now to get to be an outlaw is something that I never thought I'd be able to say, but now very thankful that I can do that.
Who has the more passionate fans? Obviously Americans here, or back over in Australia or New Zealand? You've got 3 countries, like, because obviously a lot of Australians and a lot of Kiwis come over here for this event and or the whole series when you're out doing the Outlaws tour. Is there a more passionate fan base, or is it just Sprint Car General fans in general?
So I was just going to say, it's hard to, not that I'm biased whatsoever, but it's hard to vote against Americans being hardcore fans. But being in Australia, you know, they pay attention to when the Americans come over, and they're very passionate and knowledgeable about their sprint car racing and their drivers and tracks and everything. But I feel like in general, you know, it's hard to be sprint car fans in general, no matter where you go. Everyone's so passionate and deeply embedded into, you know, going, whether it's Americans going down there or Australians or New Zealanders coming up here. You know, actually, it's funny, a couple people that I race for in New Zealand, they come up here every year, and you know, now they come out to support me and watch me. So just having that's really special, and having you come out and Wade and everyone coming out that is a part of it, you know, I think that shows as a whole that that's just sprint car racing. Yeah, and let's face it, without the fans and the fans that we've got here this afternoon, we don't have a sport if we don't have that. So, and one more from me, Tony, before you fire. The Roth Motorsports has a real Australian feel about it, obviously with your team partner in James McFadden driving, but then your crew chief, Dylan Buswell from Perth, his dad, Kim Buswell, or Buzzy as he's known, he's been over here for years, but obviously lives back in Australia these days and has crewed for a lot of amazing drivers and teams. What's it like having so many Aussies around you? Honestly, I think I've gotten used to it, and I've always said, you know, if I could pick any teammate, I think I'd pick James over and over. James has been really great to work with and just a good guy to hang out with and race with. And he's very knowledgeable about engines, and he's built motors himself. So to have that as far as, for us developing the Toyotas with Speedway and Ryder, so to have someone like him that, I could say something and he'll agree or maybe disagree and then maybe help me out or help him out has been really special. But also, I've said before, I've wanted to work with Dylan for a long time. And I feel very fortunate and lucky to have Dylan in my corner. And he's very passionate and smart, and he helped me actually enjoy sprint car racing again. So, because of him, I'll always be thankful for that. And of course, Buzzy doesn't really need an introduction. Buzzy's very talented, just like Dylan. And, really happy that he can be here and spend time with us and obviously with his son. But to be here and work with us and help us out and fill the cracks. And but yeah, just happy to be racing and have a great team and great partners for going into the best week of the year.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about you and James. How much sharing is there, or are you guys pretty autonomous from one another?
So one thing we were told at the beginning of the year was we don't have to share anything except engine information.
Okay.
So, but no, James is obviously very talented and very experienced. So, whether it's take away the motor stuff, we'll talk about car feel sometimes, or, whether it's at a track that's got a technical feel to it. He's been there most likely more than I ever have. So to have that's really good for me, I feel like. But also, like I said, James is very knowledgeable for motors, and he's built motors for great people. And I think he's won a classic as an engine builder, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
And but no, so to have that mindset, I feel like for us as we're R&Ding the Toyotas, I think has helped bring it to where it is now and help it come a long way. And honestly, I feel like they're some of the best engines I've ever ran, if not the best engines I've ran in my career.
So what do you need this week? What do you got to do to get comfortable? What do you got to do to have a good week here?
Knoxville is a hard place to be 100% comfortable with, I feel like, in general. But just, like I said, our motors run good. We've been qualifying really well at the half miles. We qualified quick time at Eldora, and we went quick time at Volusia. And the Cappy, we qualified exceptionally well, I feel like. I think just getting a little bit more comfortable in dirty air as far as car, but also I think if I can just do a little bit better job, I think hopefully we can lock this thing in.
How important is the Cappy that night to get to that extra track time?
I think it's huge. I wouldn't ever want to miss that going into this year. But also, racing with the Outlaws, you only get the 2 weekends, and unfortunately we had one rain out. Mm-hmm. So we only had 1 weekend to race here. So to have any and all laps here to me is extremely crucial. I feel like that's why you see a lot of people, why there's 80-something cars at the Cappy, but also why some people race 360 Nationals that race 410s predominantly. Yeah. So any laps is crucial here.
I asked Gio this earlier. What is it about you, Gio, Rico, Corey Day, you California guys, right? Incredibly fast, but you race on such dramatically different racetracks than this. How do you get so fast on such a different racetrack?
I don't know.
The tracks are way different, right?
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of, medium to bigger size tracks.
Calistoga would have probably been the closest thing, right?
I've only ran there a couple times, and unfortunately they didn't get a lot of races in general. And now, unfortunately, they don't have any right now, which I hope they do soon. And I've never been to Paris, ever. So never raced there, and that's a half mile. But other than that, we had Stockton, and now Stockton's a quarter mile. So really, I think Hanford and probably Tulare are the two biggest tracks we have. But I don't know. I always credit it to just working with good people and driving for good people, and I feel like that helps speed up your learning curve as a driver if you haven't been to places like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about when you were asking Stu, you asked about passionate fans, and when I was at the Classic 2 years ago, one of the things that I'll never forget was the first time I watched everybody run through the gates to get their spot. You know, it's not like everybody has a seat and a ticket, right? It's like the running of the bulls to get your spot on Mount Max.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's special. It's something I feel like everyone should experience. But yeah, Mount Max obviously has its history, and but just to me, it's crazy to see. You know, it's almost like a Thunderdome feel as far as the seating all the way around the track. And everyone just brings up their lawn chairs or sits in the grandstands wherever, because there's only grandstands on the front stretch, right?
Yeah, on the back stretch at Warrnambool there's a grandstand, and then in turn...
The corner's all grass.
Yeah, turn 2 there's a terrace area where there's some bucket seats.
All those pop-up tents in turn 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of get the Thunderdome feel, but it's exceptional. So I hope I can go back soon. I really want to, and but yeah, I think in general, sprint car racing, whether it's drivers, fans, owners, no matter where you are, it's extremely healthy, and I'm just glad to be a part of it in this era.
Well, we're really thankful that you chose to come up here with us this afternoon. I know you got a lot on your mind with your qualifying night coming up tonight, and we wish you nothing but luck.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on. Hopefully we can do something good today.
Buddy Kofoid, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. He's got a big night ahead of him. One more break, and the quickest chicken will join us here on the stage for the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show. We'll be right back.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
You spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at 0. New NOS, zero sugar. Zero sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
Okay, now that's going places. I want to go places too. I want you to have more opportunities than I had. So I would live in Hershey, Pennsylvania? Yeah, and you'll live with other students from all over the country. I'll see you soon. You're gonna be great.
Find your future at Milton Hershey School.
You make me wanna slow. You make me wanna slow.
And welcome back to the Sage Fruit Knoxville Nationals pre-race show. Tony Bokhoven, Stu McCarthy, and our final guest of the afternoon, Chase Randall, joining us tonight. Chase, you have a big night ahead of you, but let's back up here a little bit. I want to talk about the dog. Everybody's got a pet. Yours is named Crew, is that right? Yeah. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I've always wanted a dog, and my girlfriend Alexa has as well, and I think we. It got to the point where we were traveling around and we got our t-shirt trailers. Now we kind of looking for that, little buddy running around that we could always, see, have the fans come around, interact with, and we just found on the Golden Retriever page and, got one. And now we love him, named him Crew. So he does great, and he loves it, loves all the people, and he's just loving his best life.
I think Rico proved that having Gus around is a good draw to get people to the T-shirt trailer.
Well, I was just going to say, like we see at Oski on the Monday night, it's a foot race to do things. Maybe we need to have a dog race between all the dogs.
That'd be a good idea.
So let's talk about your team and your car. So you're not racing for your dad's car this year, racing with Troy and Tammy Renfro. What's that been like for you, making the change from racing your family's car to racing for somebody else?
It's been a bit different, I feel like, just for me as a driver, just doing something different for the first time, and, being with all new people, every day and throughout these past few months racing-wise. It's been different, but it's a big learning experience for me, and it's been challenging at times, but, succeeding and pretty well to others. And, I think that's all part of the path I've been on, and I'm doing pretty well with it, and I feel like I'm doing a good job with myself, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
What was it like to get that first 410 win?
I mean, it was something I've always dreamed of, to be racing at Knoxville for the first time a couple years ago, and then the 360, getting that first 360 win, and then stepping into the 410 class and performing really well out of the gate with the 2KS team, and then getting into the 410 ranks again this year and clicking off that first win was huge, and I think it was a good step of momentum leading to these past couple months, and it's really special for me.
Having never driven one of those, are you going down the back straightaway, coming for the checkers, thinking, I'm going to win this thing? Or are you not even thinking about that?
You try not to, but you just want to make sure you can hit your marks every single lap. And like I said, any race is focused on that and just doing the best you can. But, going on the backstretch for the final time, at Knoxville in a 410 is kind of nerve-wracking, because, don't jump the curb or don't miss the bottom, because everyone is, and just focus on hitting your marks. And I think, being in that position, it kind of teaches you how to win races, and that's something you can learn from for the future forever.
Yeah.
Chase, the way the sport has evolved over the last, I'm going to say 10 years, obviously with social media and the way that the sport is, have you, as much as you've got to be able to be fast in the race car and work on the race car, know what's going on with it, the other part is this, being able to talk to the fans and do social media and all that. Have you had media training or done anything like that, or is this side of it just come natural?
I've had some with working with a few speech coaches here and there, and working with that. But I think a lot of it has come just by doing a lot of the things, is doing more interviews and talking with the fans and interacting more. And I think it all comes with kind of learning how you talk and how you can kind of be, learn, how you talk like as a person, and, make the most of that. And I think, like I said, doing more of that helps out a lot too. And, that's something I always love, is getting to do these shows, interviews, and meeting all the fans has been really cool for me.
Yeah. I'll go back to 2005, my first time I ever come to Knoxville, and I was lucky enough after the feature race to be able to go into the media centre and see everything that was happening in there, and Tony Stewart was in there, and he was, because Lasowski had finished on the podium because he was driving for him, and obviously Craig Kinzer won that year. And I've never forgotten this. There was a race fan somehow got in there and started annoying Tony and trying to get his autograph, and he's like, no, I'm not working now. Do you have to do that as well at some stage, to go, hey, look, I'm just having my time to myself, and you have to sometimes work out and go, look, sorry, I'm not doing anything like that? Or is it really hard to find that balance?
I think sometimes, yes, it really is. When you're in those key moments where you're in crunch time, and you're like, the horn's blowing, you're trying to get in the car, and a fan will just come up to you and ask you something, or any moment like that, if you know what I mean. But it goes back to kind of like, how you are as a person. If you want to take those few seconds matter. If you don't get to that fan or something like that, and they could kind of turn them away from you or whatnot, and go tell another person kind of how you are. But I think for me as a person, I think I try to always take the time for those people, and because you never know, like I said, what that person might say or anything about you.
Well, and they could be a potential sponsor as well. That's the other thing, I guess, you mightn't realise at the time.
Yeah, exactly. You never know anyone who's walking around who they might be if you never met them before. So like I was always taught by my dad, always take the time. You never know who that person is, and just be your best self, really, throughout the time.
So a couple years ago, when I had the opportunity to go to Australia for the Classic, Chase was there as well. And on one of these days, we went to this zoo. And I love telling this story. So we go to this zoo, and there's snakes and wombats and kangaroos and all the things. And most of the rest, there was like 5 or 6 of us there that day. They bring out this big snake, longer than this table, as big around as this NOS can, and we're all backing away. Not Chase. He just, yeah, I'll hold it. And we go out to get the wombat. I think you held every animal that was there.
Yeah.
Have you no fear?
I think at that point, most of the animals, they know what they're doing and stuff like that. But I thought it was just really cool getting to experience that for the first time with all those cool animals and all of us, walking around. Wade was there, and a couple of the Australian officials from the tracks, and a lot of those different people. But it was just really cool seeing those animals for the first time, and it's trying to be strong and just
be strong. So in other words, you were absolutely crapping yourself, weren't you?
Sometimes holding that wombat was pretty scary.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you, Stu. There wasn't anything that came out that he didn't hold, and we're all like, nah, we're good.
I
gotta ask, did Wade organise it?
No, actually.
Because I was going to say, if he organised it, there was your first problem where you went wrong. You said yes. You shouldn't have said yes.
So, getting back to the racing side of things, you're a young guy. And what's it like for you? You have a huge following with the kids here. On a weekly basis, you can always find where you're pitted because there's always a long line. What's that like for you to have those kids, you're not very old yourself, to have them looking up to you at such a young age?
I think it all goes back to kind of how I was at one time. When I started, I started racing quarter midgets, and whenever we would travel to the dirt tracks and the sprint car races, that's kind of where I saw myself, and I always would go up to the drivers and just would remember that I was a kid once, and know how they felt when they looked at me, really. And I think that's one of the things I really enjoy the most is seeing those kids come up to you, because you can make their day, and that's something they remember for a really long time or forever, really. And I think it's just one of the things that's most special about it.
But you don't have to be a kid. I'm a race fan. Tony's a race fan. We're privileged with what we get to do, obviously. But I still get a kick out of talking to you guys, the race car drivers, because you guys, whether it's McKenna or yourself or whatever like that, and the reason I want to mention McKenna is what I was about to say. You guys are the ones putting your balls on the line, and that's no disrespect to McKenna or any other female that races, but it's what you guys do is sometimes you sit back and you go, their race car, and someone might go, oh, boo that driver, or when they crash, they clap, or whatever like that. We've got to remember that you guys are putting your life on the line every time you go out on any dirt racetrack. It's a credit to yourself and everybody else, and anybody that's just involved in our sport. Well, I think we're just so privileged as a speedway community, sprint car fans, to have what we have.
So we got about 3 minutes to go. How old are you?
I'm 19.
He's the same age as you and I.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I could be his grandpa, Stu. Yeah. So tell us what it's like being 19 years old. You're at the biggest sprint car race in the country, and your name is in probably the top 10 or 15 of people that could contend to be in the finishing order, high up in the finishing order on Saturday night. What's that like?
I'm living my dream, really. It's something, like I've always wanted to, or I am doing it, but I've always wanted to be here at the top level of sprint car racing on the biggest stage, and it's just something I've always worked for and have been really fortunate. I've been surrounded by the right people, and I've been, the right doors have opened at the right times for me, and some have closed, and I've went to better opportunities I wouldn't have known about, and it's just, things have happened that I'm really fortunate to happen. I'm really lucky to be here.
Well, we're really happy for you, and we're going to wish you tons of good luck this weekend. And we know everything has to go right, but you've got a very experienced crew chief. You've got a lot of laps here, and we wish you nothing but good luck.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck,
Chase
buddy.
Randall. Tomorrow on the show, Wade Aunger will join me up here on the stage. We have Sheldon Hodenshield coming on with us at 5 o'clock. Carson Macedo will be here at 5:15. Aaron Reitzel at 5:30. And Dusty Zomer will be here at 5:45. So hopefully you can join us again tomorrow. But I want to remind you of a few other things. First of all, I want to say thanks to the folks at Sage Fruit for sponsoring the stage. Hopefully some of you got some apples. I saw them handing some of those out earlier. After the races tonight, you're all invited to the post-race race press conference that happens down in the show barn at the end of this concourse. So if you haven't come to that before, you really should attend it. It's pretty cool. You'll get a chance to hear from the drivers and things like that. Don't forget, at 4 o'clock on this very stage, the Anything Goes show will happen, where they'll be giving away all kinds of cool prizes. And then on Friday at high noon, Steve Kinzer will have a book unveiling with Dave Argerbright at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. So if you'd like to come learn about Steve Kinzer's book, be there at noon at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. For everybody here at Knoxville, for those of you watching on Dirt Vision, we thank you for tuning in. We got a big race night ahead of us. For those of you here in the crowd, thanks for joining us this afternoon, and we'll see you all here tomorrow.
August 7th, 2024, the wait is finally over as dirt racing's most hallowed ground is open for business. As drivers, teams, and fans from around the globe gather as a witness to the next chapter of the most anticipated week in sprint car racing. This is the Knoxville Raceway. This is the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals. And for the next 4 nights, if you can't be in Marion County, Iowa, we are sure glad you are here on Dirt Vision. Welcome, everybody, to our North Carolina's Dirt Vision studio presented by Milton Hershey School, along with Hannah Newhouse, who's joined us for the week. And I am Dave Reef. And Hannah, you know, it does not matter what discipline shapes your need for speed. everybody knows about the Knoxville Nationals in this week.
Yeah, you want to talk about bucket list racing. I come from a pavement background, and Knoxville Nationals was always on my bucket list. I had the opportunity to go for my first ever Nationals last year, and what an experience. Of course, a little sad I'm not able to be there this year, but I have one of the best seats in the house, getting to be here alongside you and bringing everyone the racing coverage all weekend long.
1992, that was my first Knoxville Nationals. It has been a tremendous ride across all of the years, and again, we are so glad that you are joining us. Chances are you already know what the lay of the land is, but just in case you don't, let's get a bird's eye overview of what you can expect tonight through Saturday. An event where prestige outweighs a purse on the north side of $1 million. It's a pressure-packed 2 days of qualifying as the entry list of 110 is split into two Wednesday and Thursday shows where every lap matters. More on that in a few moments. A select few will earn the right to take the next night off. For everyone else, it's another unique, intense, insanely popular prelim night. They call it Hard Knocks. Now, by dawn's first light Saturday, we will begin to understand the makeup of the championship Saturday, which of course highlighted by the $190,000 to win 50-lap Knoxville Nationals. The format, well, tonight and tomorrow, it's all about points, beginning with qualifying that start at 200 for quick time and drop by 2 points per position. Those results set up the field in 5 heat races, each inverted by 8. Results here begin at 100 and drop by 3 points per position. Top 4 locked into the A main. Next 4 5 through 8 are B main bound. The remainder in the C. Now both the C and B mains reward the top 4 finishers, transferring up the alphabet. And that brings us to the A main, where finishers are again awarded the same points as qualifying, starting at 200, falling down by 2 points per position. Now, put together a perfect night. Quick time, win your heat. Grab the feature win. It's worth 500 points. Not impossible. It has been done before, and it most certainly can be done again. Here's a list, though, of the 55 names highlighted, of course, by the incomparable Sammy Swindell going tonight.
And, of course, you got Jacob Allen. You've got the quickest chicken at Chase Randall. Casey Kane, of course, highlighting here on the Wednesday portion. Corey Day, Donnie Schatz, Sheldon Hodenshield, part of this as well. This Wednesday, from top to bottom, has so much depth in the field, it's going to be fun to watch.
Of course, it all starts in just a few moments with the pill draw. That's the first of the important moves you got to do. You got to get out on that racetrack, that big, beautiful black dirt racetrack, when the time is right to put down the best time you can. Again, top to bottom, though, this is a great night. Maybe a little bit more star-studded people tomorrow night, but across the board, this one nice and even.
Oh my gosh, you've got local flavor, you've got heavy hitters, you've got those that have been silent but deadly throughout the season. And of course, they have to put their best foot forward here on this Wednesday portion, and it'd be hard to pick a favorite.
Well, to put it all in perspective, there are 7 former champions that make up the 110 entries. 5 of those drivers are going tonight. Now, we saw those lists go by. We're going to tell you who we think some of the contenders are here in just a minute, but maybe riding the edge of the radar, who are some names that stuck out to you on that list?
Well, Nick Hoffman and I, of course, had Pitbull earlier this week.
Of course.
And we went ahead and took our picks on that. And my pick for tonight was Hot Shoe Gio Scelzi Hot Sauce, right? He's been on a quick tear. He's really found his confidence, currently sitting 3rd right now in World of Outlaw points. And Nick went ahead and picked David Gravel, your points leader.
Fair.
I said that was a cheap pick. You can't pick the front row when it comes down to it. It's like picking the front row in the front of the race. But my underdog for that is Anthony Macri, the concrete kid. I mean, he just thrives in these kind of racetracks. If you almost squint, it kind of looks like Port Royal and up there in a couple of those Pennsylvania tracks that he's really good at. So Macri's my dark horse.
Boy, to think that Macri and David Gravel, 2 guys that are putting up some insane numbers in the 410 category this year, are qualifying on the same night as Donnie Schatz and some other champions. Oh my goodness, it is going to be sensational indeed. But you know, you got to be doing something right for many people to call this race tongue-in-cheek the Schattsville Nationals. Many of those, of course, are rabid longtime fans that remember the days of Steve Kinser ripping off win after win at Knoxville before retiring as a 12-time champion. But for anyone born around the turn of the century, well, they can draw the same parallels to the modern-day king of the Outlaws, that, of course, Donnie Schatz. His 29th overall appearance since his first in 1995. It took the Fargo, North Dakota native 4 starts just to make the A-main. The 25 consecutive appearances and counting since 1998, the numbers are just simply gaudy. 11 wins, complete with streaks of 4 and 5 in a row packed into there. 2nd place another 8 times. 3rd a year ago, that makes 20 podium positions in the 25 A-mains he's raced in. But to know Donnie Schatz, well, you know those numbers don't mean a dang thing to him, as he is right now with Dirt Vision's Connor Wade pitside in Knoxville.
Well, Donnie Schatz has an opportunity this week, once again, to tie Steve Kinser atop the all-time winners list of the Knoxville Nationals. Donnie, it's crazy to think that you're only 1 away from tying Steve. Do you think about that record often?
No, I think it's all about living in the moment here. We've had a great run to today. but it's really about this week, and if we can, that's how we got to this point, is taking it one day at a time. So not going to change that narrative, and you really want to block out all them distractions they're really super unreal. I mean, I never would have thought to even be in that boat, but to be even considered in that is pretty neat. But we'll just see what happens.
You know what it takes to put together a good prelim performance. If you had to pick one aspect of the prelim night that you think is the most important, what would that be?
Well, I don't think that history and stats don't lie to you what happens, and I think we've been here a lot of times by winning our prelim night, and we haven't won the big dance on Saturday doing that. So I think you got to focus more on, last year we had a great performance at prelim night, and come Saturday we just didn't have enough to barely even run top three. So, we got to get ourselves through that heat race. I think no matter where you qualify, get through that heat race is the most important. From there, you can really start working on your race car. And if you got a good car in the main, come Saturday, you never know what's gonna bring. So you rely on your guys. We got a lot of good notes from here. We've had a lot of good runs from here. We've had some good finishes here this year. So hopefully we can, get back on that page, and what we learned the other night help us tonight too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the car you guys are running this week hasn't seen a racetrack all season long. Is that the case? And why exactly do you make the decision to bring out a brand new race car?
I think anytime you take a new race car out, as long as it responds the same, and it felt pretty good early in the night. So I think that's just something you have to do. You got to try to have your freshest stuff, and this is really a long race. Even being 50 laps, people don't realize the toll it takes on just the heat soaking the equipment and all the stuff. As hard as you're running it for that long, even if it's here or Peevely, it's a very similar scenario. So fresher seems to be the best route, and you don't want to go in blind. So that's why we ran Sunday night, and felt like we had a pretty respectable night. It didn't end well, but there's reasons for that. We obviously know what they are, so we corrected that, and we're here.
Donnie Schatz, an 11-time winner of the Knoxville Nationals, looking to take this blue and gold number 15 to the front tonight. Dave?
Thank you very much, Connor and Hannah. I got to tell you, I was there when Donnie Schatz first started making the trek to Knoxville. He and his family-owned team, the truck stop and everything, the truck wash, they couldn't hit their ass to save themselves. And look at what Donnie Schatz has become. This is a guy that has parlayed the experiences, and he's humble too. Amazing.
And that he is. I mean, when we rained out with the Outlaws, the late models up in the North Dakota area, that whole family took in, I'm not even kidding you, about 10 late model teams. And we set up camp over at Donnie Schatz's place for the 2 days that we were there. And the hospitality between the family and the truck stop and everything, they're a great family to be around. But I have to say, it is funny to hear him say that they didn't put up the number that they wanted to on Sunday, but they feel like they put their best foot forward, because there's one driver that I've been keeping my eye on who just chose to not even partake in Sunday, because they are so, I'm pretty sure he actually was sitting up in the suite.
He was.
Is where he was
probably
watching
having
that
an adult
race.
libation himself.
Listen, you know what? You deserve it when you're the current World of Outlaw, NOS and ARP points leader, and that driver, of course, being David Gravel. And there's no doubt that David Gravel needs to be on your one-to-watch list, not only tonight, but during the entirety of Knoxville Nationals. Already hitting over 14 World of Outlaw wins alone on the season. He's coming off a hot streak of solid runs and wins at Crown Jewels, including recently being crowned King David at the King's Royal at Eldora Speedway. And Gravel was finally able to nab one of those national titles in 2019, but over the course of the last 2 years, Gravel has succumbed to the role of bridesmaids, finishing runner-up. But this year, with momentum on his side, he hopes to overcome this event once again and take home a second Knoxville Nationals championship. And Connor Wade, that all starts tonight as David Gravel is scheduled to hit the track for his prelim night.
Well, David Gravel completed the third leg of the Crown Jewel trifecta when he won the King's Royal at Eldora last month. David, you've won the King's Royal now, along with the National Open and the Knoxville Nationals. Can you start to focus on checking off multiple of the Crown Jewel wins?
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool. We've done that with the National Open, but Knoxville Nationals is such a prestigious list, the most prestigious, the smallest list in sprint car racing. So, man, we've been close here a few times. So hopefully this is our year to get the job done.
You've been so good in 2024. You've won all the big races, leading the point standings with the Outlaws. How much of that carries over, and then how much is Knoxville a completely different ballgame?
Yeah, Knoxville's a different ball game, but we're confident here. We were good here earlier in the season, so we're just in a good headspace right now. So the more you do the Knoxville Nationals, the less of hype it gets for you, or get yourself mentally messed up. So we're just going to treat today like any other day, and we know we have a fast 2-car, and we got our good Morrison engine in just like the rest of them, and we're just going to go out there and do our jobs.
So you've won the Knoxville Nationals, however your car owner Todd Queering with Big Game Motorsports has not. Has Todd made it clear to you how much he wants to win this race as well?
Yeah, for sure. That's the number one on his list. You know, and I would love to be a two-time champion. The list of one-time champions is small, and the list of two-time is even smaller. So, yeah, that's the one thing he wants in this world of sprint car racing is the Knoxville Nationals. So we got him 2 seconds so far, so hopefully this is our year to get him a first.
He's been the runner-up in this race 2 years in a row, and tonight David Gravel begins his quest for his second Knoxville Nationals win.
Thanks, Connor. Now, in the interest of fair reporting, Todd Queering does have a Knoxville Nationals win. It's a 360 Knoxville Nationals win, one of Terry McCarl's 5. But when it comes to David Gravel, the year he's been putting together, the bank account is getting fat. And if he can get Todd Queering that Knoxville Nationals, that would be something else, of course, with the High Bank Nationals still around the corner. But this is just like Kid Rock says. You know, it ain't cocky if you back it up.
Well, and there was so many eyes on Gravel and his team coming into this season, right? It was dubbed the year of David Gravel, and he's had every opportunity to cave and break under that pressure. But instead, him and that team have put together good, consistent runs. They've cashed in on those paychecks when it's mattered the most. And we're at the midpoint in the summer. It's hot season right now for David Gravel and the money on the line. And I mean, when you get on hot streaks like this is where we see these drivers just continue these trends. And it would be cool to see him, of course, end up in victory lane.
David, Donnie, that is the absolute tip of the spear. But let's bring it down a little bit and talk about some expectations for some other racers. And we begin with a Pennsylvania racer whose grandfather, Bobby Allen, won it. Jacob Allen, welcome back to him back at the Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, a lot of eyes are on Jacob Allen as he's regained the reins of a sprint car after taking a hiatus during the 2023 season. And there's no doubt that Allen has to have the Knoxville Nationals circled on his schedule this season and, well, every season with the recent performances that they've been able to put together. But the last time that Allen was in action at the Nationals in 2022, he was able to win his preliminary night and take part in the big dance on Saturday. He's also coming off a pretty stellar finish of 5th place at the Kings Royal earlier this year, showing that these formats really just suit his performance style. So the pressure's back on for this Pennsylvania driver as he's looking for a little redemption and a good boost to continue his return to racing in his 2024 campaign.
Yeah, I feel great. I mean, you know, normally I'm used to racing the Ironman 55 and then coming straight here. So that's always a pretty quick turnaround. I feel really prepared for the Nationals this year. I feel like I have a great motor, great team behind me, you know, with my crew guys and sponsors, and just go out there and do the best I can as a race car driver. You know, qualifying's obviously a big key to everything, and then passing cars and just, you know, obviously put a whole night of racing together. But I think for me, what makes me feel good about going into the prelim night is just really good preparation and those sort of things. So I think it's really neat for a community all to come together for one big sprint car race, and just really happy to be a part of it. Proud to have my dad be able to win the race, so that's just a little pride thing for myself. But just big thing for me is just really cool to see the community get together and have such a well-organized and great event.
And of course, as Jacob just corrected me from a moment ago, yes, he is Bobby's son, but this is a kid that looks very laid back. His new schedule seems to be fitting exactly what he needs to be as successful as he can.
And he got that big high limit win also. So sometimes you need to take that step back. We always talk about it. This schedule, this discipline of racing, and in order to put together your best program, it's grueling. Not only your equipment, your team, but your mental health. So props to them. They still fielded that car almost all of last year, had a different driver at Nationals, had Tanner Holmes in the latter part of last year, giving a young driver from the Pacific Northwest, where I'm from, an opportunity there. But of course, great to see Jacob Allen back behind the wheel.
I just hope we didn't give him the old media jinx. Just when you start talking about people, a lot of times that's when sometimes things don't go that way. But then again, Jacob Allen's one of those guys that can just step up at any time. We mentioned his father, Bobby Allen, the 1990 winner, Tim Schaefer in 2017. Why do I bring those two names together? Well, they're the last two Pennsylvanians in the last 33 years to win the Knoxville Nationals. There's one guy who would hope to change that this year, and that, of course, would be Brent Marks. But perhaps the biggest challenge for him might just lay with the surface, as Knoxville's black dirt races are a little bit different than that Pennsylvania clay he's used to out east. But as we found out 2 years ago, when Brent became a king at the Kings Royal, once he figures things out, this is a team that's a force to be reckoned with as he finished the year with an awfully big deposit slip. But as you probably already know, success on Saturday in Knoxville begins with prelims. And statistically, it's been a struggle. Racing in 7 qualifying night features in his 10 previous attempts, 2 third-place finishes are the best result. In only 4 of those years did he either earn enough points or race his way in to Saturday night's main event. Tonight, though, he's got plans to give those stats a kick in the pants.
You know, we're hit and miss here. We're either good or really bad, so we just need to kind of dial it all in and get ourselves in a lot better position than we have been in years past. And there's 2 years in a row that we were in pretty good position there, and felt like we were able to challenge for top 3 spot there, and just didn't pan out for us at the end of the race. But I'm really looking forward to this week and hoping that we have a good chance at getting a good starting spot on Saturday. And qualifying is always the most important, but if you qualify good, you still got to pass those cars in the heat race. And I feel like you don't necessarily have to be quick time in order to get yourself in position. You just have to be at the right spot to get yourself in the right spot in the heat race, and then try to pass some cars in the features. So that's the hardest part of this whole week is your prelim nights. It's very challenging and super difficult, and it's all about timing and luck, and it's just it's a whole ordeal. So it's one of the hardest races I've ever competed in my life.
Of course, they call him the Myerstown Missile, and if I'm reading his body language right, he seems to be a little reserved, a little measured in his remarks. You're a former race car driver. What are we supposed to read through all of that?
I mean, it's easy to get in your head, especially at an event like this, and where, again, statistics show he struggles on the prelim night. So today, as that's being recorded, he's probably in race mode, again, trying to break those statistics and put his best foot forward in tonight's preliminary. So, racers are racers. They're going to get in their own head. They get into race mode, and then we come along and ask for interviews, and we usually get that body language when they're ready to just be in race mode.
Of course, it's all about points tonight, and that pressure will start for him in qualifying in just a little bit. We've talked about a lot of the guys we may or may not expect, but you know what? There are a lot of young lions competing tonight. We'd like to kind of show you some stats about them right now.
Well, we started a little bit earlier in the show, and he was my pick, so no pressure whatsoever. But you cannot count out third in World of Outlaw points right now. The hot sauce, Gio Scelzi, and his statistics at Knoxville already roaring. Of course, had the pole in 2021 and a career best finish of 4th last year, collecting those Rookie of the Year honors. And, well, those Knoxville stats, they're there. 7 total wins between 410s and 360s, and he's just had a stellar season so far, really fine-tuning his racecraft here with the Outlaws. That California kid would love to find Knoxville Nationals victory lane here as a champion.
He's 22. Let's go up a year to 23 and talk a little bit about Pen Grove, California's Buddy Kofoid. 2 Knoxville Nationals. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2022. Ran again last year. He's got 11th and 8th place finishes. Did pick up a win with the Outlaws earlier this year in Attica, but 2 stops at Knoxville earlier this year with the Outlaws didn't go the way of Buddy Kofoid with 13th and 14th place finishes, 2 of his 6 worst finishes on the year. That can all flip, though, in a moment here, just as soon as they take those 2 time trial laps.
Well, and I like to say it's almost a little bit of local flavor, but the driver actually hails from Texas. That, of course, being the quickest chicken of Chase Randall. Has ran around the Knoxville Raceway for the last couple years and was the 2023 Rookie of the Year in his Knoxville Nationals attempt. But the rookie stripes, they're off this season. He's coming back for his sophomore run at a Nationals championship, and he comes with some accolades. 2 410 sprint car wins already on the season here in 2024. Of course, ran 360s Nationals last week and has had some success, and the quickest chicken has got to be a local favorite here for a Nationals win.
From Scelzi to Kofoid, I went up a year, but from Randall to Corey Day, let's go down a year. 19 down to 18. Dubbed my Benny, including Kyle Larson, as the next big thing in racing. This kid is fast wherever he shows up. Another one of these talented California racers that ran the Knoxville Nationals in 2022, but didn't qualify. Came back last year, started 12th, finished 10th. Very respectable indeed. A lot of wins this year. Of course, he was a most recent Rule of Outlaw winner at Knoxville back in June. He called the experience as badass as he thought it would be, but I guarantee you, it won't be as badass. That kid can figure out how to win the Knoxville Nationals.
So this year, I feel really confident. Feel confident in our race car, confident in the team, and confident in myself that we can win the Nationals this year if everything goes the right way, I guess. So the past couple years, I guess I've been the young guy that everyone should watch, but I didn't feel like I was going to win. The past couple years we've ran some local shows here to get ready, and still wasn't enough. Still just struggled with our car, and I struggled with making poor decisions, just because this place is its own animal. So this year had a really good showing at the Outlaw show, and felt confident in my car and confident in my decisions on the racetrack, and I think that helped immensely for sure.
110 total entries. That man right there, one of 55 animals getting ready to take the Knoxville Raceway now. Hannah, you, for for the last 2 weeks. We're at Crown Jewel events with the late models. Just a little bit of a different perspective this year, or this weekend, watching the Knoxville Nationals. It's going to be fun.
I mean, way less pressure on me. I get to sit here and watch these guys take on the wild card that is Knoxville Nationals and Knoxville Raceway. The best of the best, battling it out. We have all of the screens here from Dirt Vision. We get all of the angles and get to call the action all weekend long.
It's time to send you out to the guys who'll call the action. John Gibson and Tony Bokhoven. Pit side, it's Wade Onger and Connor Wade. And, of course, the only way we can get you properly ready for the Knoxville Nationals is this little tease, getting you hyped up for the granddaddy of them all.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But if they hang your picture at Knoxville, 1,000 words may not be enough.
Pray before the races, I always have. I probably run 1,000,000 races, and I prayed 1,000,000 times.
Look at that, Eddie, to the bottom. Danny Lasowski goes by Sammy for the 12th time. Steve Kinzer has won the Knoxville Nationals. Greg Kinzer is the 45th Knoxville Nationals champion. Donnie Schatz returns to victory lane at the Knoxville Nationals.
I know he wasn't happy with me for crowding him, but shit, I want to win.
Let's show the big cat wins the Knoxville Nationals.
To be up here is a dream that I never thought I'd ever come close to being true.
David Gravel wins the Knoxville Nationals. Kyle Larson wins Knoxville Nationals number 2.
Thought it was worth a shot, and he talked the fair board into a $5,000 purse and a Nationals, and it went great, had a good crowd, and it's just been growing ever since.
Welcome to the 63rd running of the Knoxville Nationals.
You are looking live at the sprint car capital of the world. The biggest week in sprint car racing is here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome in to night number 1 of the 62nd annual NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's General Stores. Thank you so much for tuning in on Dirt Vision. I'm Connor Wade here at Knoxville Raceway, as we're just a few moments away from pushing cars on the track for hot laps to get this huge event started. The best driver in sprint car racing this season, David Gravel, is a part of tonight's 52-car field, as is the GOAT of the Knoxville Nationals, Donnie Schatz. 52 cars in attendance. Going to be an incredible action-packed night of racing here at Knoxville. Racing has already started this week at Knoxville with the Capitani Classic on Sunday. That win went to Rico Abreu. Rico will run tomorrow, but the runner-up in that race is in action tonight, and that's the first man we're going to talk about in our Wade's World pre-race coverage here at the track, and that's Giovanni Scelzi. Scelzi wasn't happy with the speed he had when the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series ran here in August, so Gio went to work. He came here for a weekly show over 4th of July, brought it home in 3rd, and then had a great night. Showed speed from the time they unloaded the KCP Racing 18 out of the trailer on Sunday night and brought it home 2nd in that feature, just short of Rico Abreu. Scelzi has started every Knoxville Nationals he's ever attempted, and tonight he will look to do it for a 6th time. Scelzi has a lot of comfort at a track he always runs well at, and he'll look to put it in the big show once again with a solid run here tonight.
Yeah, drew a great number. That helps. Drew a 47 tonight, so not really at the back, but middle back. Your expectations change a bit when you draw like that. How high can you get up qualified, and what's the real expectation where you want to start in a heat race? So obviously you want a time good start somewhere between 6th and 8th and transfer through. So points are obviously extremely valuable, and however high you can make it makes your Saturday a bit easier. This is a place that I feel like I can get around pretty good, and when you don't run good, it's very discouraging to look back and say, is it me, is it the car, is it our engine program, and tested in July and figured something out, then got going there at the local show. So luckily it translated to Cappy on Sunday, and hopefully keep it rolling for the rest of the week.
Are there nerves going into this night?
Oh, for sure. If there's not, then you don't care much about wanting to win this race. So my name's not up there yet, but I hope it will be.
Scelzi has been really solid in preliminary nights here at the Knoxville Nationals. As you look at his finishes, 4th, 12th, 2nd, 4th, and 10th, where he has finished in prelim nights in his Knoxville Nationals career. Another solid effort here tonight will give him incredible odds to get into the show for a 6th time in this year's Knoxville Nationals. Scelzi has competed in bid races for wins in 2024. He almost won $100,000 with High Limit last month at Eldora. This past Saturday night, he almost won $25,000 at the Ironman 55, a very prestigious race for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Got got beat late by Kyle Larson. So Gio has shown that he can compete at marquee events, and now he's looking to win one. So keep an eye on that beautiful black and gold number 18 here this week at the Nationals. Gio's not the only youngster in the field looking for a big night. How about the defending Rookie of the Year at the Knoxville Nationals, none other than Chase Randall. Randall is one of 13 feature starters from last year that is in the field tonight. And Randall made a lot of noise on his prelim last year, got second only to Donnie Schatz, an incredible showing for the youngster. And it doesn't matter if it's a local show or the Knoxville Nationals, Randall feels at home here at Knoxville Raceway.
You know, at a big race like this, you know, you got to have those certain things that fall your way and stuff, you know, that you can't control that kind of works on your favor. But, you know, you also have to, you know, be able to be making the right decisions inside the race car and outside as well, getting you know, to be up in the front of the field like that. And, you know, just making the right decisions, I feel like, as a driver is going to be huge. And I think we've grown a lot this year, you know, at Knoxville and learned a lot. So I think I'm really well prepared for it, and hopefully we can do that run again. The fans have kind of, you know, taken me in, or you could say, you know, they do with a lot of their local drivers. But you know, I really enjoy coming here every time, and I think, you know, for me, it really helps getting able to run here all the time. To, you know, when a big race like this comes up, I feel like we're, you know, at our top of the level performance.
Brought home a 13th place finish in last year's Knoxville Nationals, did Chase Randall. Keep an eye on him tonight. Randall has pretty much dedicated his entire life to running well here at Knoxville, moved about an hour up the road from his original hometown of Waco, Texas, and he and that 2KS car have been a really, really good combination on a weekly basis at Knoxville, and expect him to run well. So Randall's going to try to back up that solid effort last year, the second place run on the prelim. Look for him to make some noise here tonight. It's a beautiful day in Knoxville, Iowa, a little cooler than you would expect for August in Iowa as we take a look at our current racecast. 77 degrees, very light winds, no rain forecasted. It was originally scheduled to be a pretty cloudy, overcast day, but that's not been the case. The sun has been out all day, and the time of the night that the weather is going to have the most effect on is qualifying, which you're going to see pretty early on in tonight's program. With the sun being out, expect this racetrack to dry a little bit quicker than drivers would have expected, as opposed to cloudy conditions. Usually Wednesday night is known to be the wettest night, but with the sun beating down on this racetrack pretty much all day, it could dry out a lot quicker than expected. Also, whenever the Outlaws were here back in June, we saw a much drier Knoxville Raceway than we had seen in the past. So expect the drivers that drew high and are going to go out early in qualifying tonight to have an advantage, and those guys that are going to have to go out late might have to find some speed in other areas. So that'll be interesting to pay attention to early on in the night. That wraps up our Wade's World pre-race coverage here from the track. Let's take a look at the order of events. We are going to start things off tonight with hot laps and seafoam qualifying. We'll take a break for opening ceremonies, which includes all the Knoxville Nationals pageantry. 5 heat races, 10 laps in distance tonight. We'll take a brief intermission after that. A 10-lap C-Main, a 12-lap Microlight Last Chance Showdown, and a 25-lap preliminary feature here on night number 1 of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals, presented by Casey's General Stores. Of course, everybody tonight trying to earn as many points as possible, especially in qualifying. It's 200 points to set quick time. That's the same amount of points you get to win tonight's feature. So qualifying, ultra important, as are the heat races, and every time these drivers go out on the track tonight, everybody trying to get into that top 16 after tomorrow's prelim to try to get into the finale for 50 laps and $185,000 on Saturday. I'm Connor Wade. Wade Onger is going to join me in the pit area throughout the night, with just being a few moments away from putting cars out on the track for hot laps. Let's kick things up to the Hall of Fame broadcast booth. We have Knoxville Raceway track announcer Tony Bokhoven and the voice of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, John Gibson. Gentlemen, good evening. The pits are packed. Knoxville, Iowa is getting more packed by the minute, and what a great week it's going to be here at the sprint car capital of the world.
There is just something about being at Knoxville in August. The atmosphere unmatched in all of sprint car racing, perhaps in all of motorsports. Don't want to be anywhere else, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. When you walk around town, there's campers in every yard within, a mile of the main drag here, and just a good vibe. The businesses come together, and everybody's all excited about having an influx of people come to Knoxville. So the weather's perfect. There's huge car counts, huge fan counts. Everything is right for a great week of racing.
So again, the car's now being staged, going to get set to fire engines here momentarily. A lot of water put down on the racetrack, and there are some drivers that are probably fairly grateful to see that, because some pretty heavy hitters drawing very late in the order for seafoam qualifying.
Yeah, as I was looking down the back row there, there's some names back there that probably wish they could do the draw all over again.
And again, Connor mentioned that Knoxville Nationals format, unique in sprint car racing. Seafoam qualifying, paying as many points for the winner, for the quick qualifier as the feature winner gets this evening. The inversion of 8 in the heat races, taking the top 4 directly to the feature as well. So a lot of times we see inversions, it's about points and things like that. Tonight, it's where you finish in your heat race. Now, you earn points for Saturday, but tonight's program is lined up by finishing and qualifying position.
Yeah, so it makes those heat races really important. There'll be no slouching in the heat races, and some of these guys that are going to go out late, it's yet to be determined whether the extra water on the track has been a good thing or not, but we'll get that worked out here once we get cars on the racetrack, and we'll probably do a little hot lapping. Then we'll let them wheel pack for just a little bit, and then we'll bring them back up to speed. So a little work to do, but the cool part is the fans are making their way into the grandstands, the cars are heading down to the staging lanes, and we'll have cars on the racetrack here momentarily.
And again, you mentioned the weather. Upper 70s, maybe 80 degrees for a high temperature all week long here.
Yeah, and just a couple days ago, it was as hot as the surface of the sun here. It was terrible. You couldn't hardly stand to be out in it. And what a difference. Yesterday, people were talking about the fact that they needed hooded sweatshirts because it was so cool here in town. It was probably a 40-degree swing from where it was to yesterday's temperature.
So again, cars now beginning to stage in the pit area. Set to roll race cars on the racetrack momentarily. This is Brent Professional Agriculture qualifying night of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. And again, we split the field in half, so half the teams competing this evening. We'll see the other half tomorrow night, and then we'll tally up some points, lock drivers in for Saturday, bring more back for Hard Knocks night on Friday. And again, it's that Knoxville Nationals format that we love to see.
Yeah, we love it because it's difficult. The drivers, they'll tell you that it's one of the most tough formats, but they love it. They look forward to it. There's a strategy. Everybody's got their own strategy, but until we get cars on the racetrack, none of it matters. One of the things that I think you and I will have to look at, if you look at the front row, there's a couple of those cars sitting down there in the staging lanes with different paint schemes than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, some really brilliant stuff out there this year. A very colorful set of special Knoxville Nationals paint schemes here. One of those drivers are in the very front row there, Matt Jewell with the throwback,
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Went blank on Days of Thunder for a second, of all things. So again, some fresh paint schemes, some special paint schemes that maybe we've seen before in the pit area as well, but not necessarily the paint schemes that they run every other week of the year.
Right. Gio has a different paint scheme tonight. Donnie has a different paint scheme. Parker Price Miller's car is dramatically different than what we're used to seeing. So it's going to be exciting. It'll be fun to see those cars on the racetrack for sure.
First car to hit the speedway for Brant Professional Agriculture qualifying night at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's from Jacksonville, Oregon. Driving the boss, Shane DeWalt Trucking, S-Tech, Carbon Works, DZ Custom Truck Accessories, number 18T, that's Tanner Holmes.
From T, South Dakota, the Octane 8 State Bank of Fairmont, Dammer Trucking, Franklin Motor Company, West River Trailer Sales, car number 09, that's Matt Jewell.
And making his way down the backstretch from Cherryville, North Carolina, the Mid-Nebraska Land Developers, M&R Manufacturing, 18 Express Moss Racing Agents, 23M of Lance Moss.
From St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia, driving the TK Concrete King Racing Products Zip Bonds, Maxim Trucking and Materials, BR Motorsports. Car number 55, the Madman, Kerry Madsen.
One of those special paint schemes we were talking about. Driver out of Columbia, Missouri in the Fisher Body Shop, SNS Nationwide, LRI, Cenex, Eagle Stop, Sorrells, Impact Signs, number 23, Garrett Williamson.
Rolling into turn number 3. From Springfield, Nebraska, the Estenson Racing, True Line Logistics, Arai, Yamalube, Backlund Plumbing, car number 14J, that's Jack Dover.
And from right here in Knoxville, Iowa, aboard the QTC Goodnow promotion, Stivers Ford Lincoln Schilling Excavating, number 22, Riley Goodnow.
From Germantown, Tennessee, the Eclipse Claim Consulting, TetherTech Safety USA, High Performance Lubricants, Apex Motorsports, car number 1 of Sammy Swindell.
And from Kokomo, Indiana, the Chalk Sticks Torsion Bars Elite Wings, Epoxico High Performance Lubricants number 9P of Parker Price Miller.
From Lincoln, Nebraska, the Team Jack Foundation, Angler Machine and Tool, King Racing Products, Chalk Stick, Schoenfeld. Car number 1M, that's Don Drow Jr.
And from Liston, Indiana, the Horsepower Incorporated, Pennock Insurance, Donna's Pool and Patio, number 23L of Jimmy Light.
From Sapulpa, Oklahoma, the Smileys, Glenn Stires Racing, Aces Up Sim Sports, CSR Garage, Scissors Tails Racing Development. Car number 52, that's Blake Hahn.
And from Lemoore, California, in the Tarleton & Son, Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, Executive Auto Sales, Empire Machinery, Bandy & Associates, number 21T, Cole Macedo.
From East Grand Forks, Minnesota, driving the Proceed, AgServe, KW Repair, Phil Thompson and Associates, JW Repair, cut number G5 of Gage Polkrabeck.
And from Sacramento, California, behind the wheel of the Running Boxer Farms, Impressive Creations, Harris Distributing, number 101, Caleb Henry.
From Fairland, Indiana, the Michael Dutcher Motorsports, Lifestyle Homes, Griffin's Propane, Parallax Motorsports, car number 17, GP. That's Cale Thomas.
And from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, piloting car number 39M, the JNS Classics Valley Supply, C&D Rigging, Randy Shearer Heating and Plumbing entry, it's Anthony Macri. So groups 1 and 2 are actually on the speedway right now, helping to do some wheel packing. When they are ready to begin the first practice session, they'll pull group number 2 back into the infield, and drivers being instructed via the Racing Electronics one-way communication system to put those left rear wheels down in the sloppy stuff on the bottom of the speedway to help us do some wheel packing before we turn them loose for the opening practice session of the night. So again, it's still a little bit sloppy, especially on the low side of the speedway. And Tony, you mentioned earlier, we will expect to see some green flag laps and then some more wheel packing and then a few more green flag laps for the drivers in group number 1.
Yeah, we've often seen that really help the track come in, and we often, see the times fall a couple seconds when we do that. So I'm sure that's what will happen as you see some of the cars coming into the infield now. They'll bring them right down back into the staging lane. Leave about half the cars on the racetrack. Let them pack a few more laps before Justin Clark turns them loose.
So group number 2 making their way into the infield. Group number 1 getting set to put the throttles to the floor for the first time. We wait all year long for this week, and it is getting set to roll right now at the Knoxville Raceway.
We've been waiting for a long time. Yes, we've been waiting for a long, long time. We've been waiting for a long time. But we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a reason everybody should be shaking in the house tonight. And you should grab your favorite lady and promise her you do right. Tell back Jack to jump back and give you a shot of some blues. So you can bump to some storm down, but bump and rock and roll real a little blues. The boys are back in town.
So the car is coming up to speed here in this first group. Obviously the track ways to go here with times jacked over the first car down into the 17-second bracket. Sammy Swindell, 18.080. He's the second fastest car on the racetrack at the moment.
Sammy Swindell, quickest now at a 17.847, jacked over second. Lance Moss takes over the third spot. Matt Jewell fourth, and now Kerry Madsen down to the mid-17s, jacked over, tops in at a 17.497. Checkered flag waving for group number 1.
Tanner Holmes up into the third spot there into the 17-second bracket. Kerry Madsen, so a few more cars, Johnny. Looks like 5 cars into the 17-second bracket here in this first group. Jacked over, Kerry Madsen, Sammy Swindell, Tanner Holmes, and Matt Jewell and Riley Goodnow. 6 cars into the 17-second bracket.
So we get surprised a little bit. We're just going to go checkered on this one. Practice session number 1 is in the books now. Group number 2 getting set to roll onto the speedway. So drivers in group number 1, a little bit of a slippery track out there when they're out for their practice session. But they'll have 5 more practice sessions to get that track worked in before we move into Seafoam qualifying. And again, group number 2 making their way back on onto the speedway. We saw these drivers out along with group number 1 to do some wheel packing before we wave the first green flag. So Caleb Henry back out in the 101.
Cole Macedo in the 21T.
Parker Price Miller in the 9P.
Anthony Macri, the 39M.
52 of Blake Hahn.
Don Drab Jr. in the 1M.
And Gage Polkerbeck in the G5. The rest of the drivers in group number 1 as we get set to wave the green flag on the second practice session. Looking for our first 16-second lap of warm-ups. Now officially under green for practice session number 2. Parker Price Miller, quickest overall, 17.278.
Caleb Henry, 17.367. That's third quickest overall.
Jimmy Light now into the top 3. Light turns a 17.324. Cale Thomas and Caleb Henry the first into the 16s and it's mid-16s.
Cole Macedo, second quick now, 16.650. Anthony Macri, 16.936, finds himself third quickest. Jimmy Light getting up there now, second quickest, 16.600.
So definite improvement in lap times in the second practice session for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Brant Professional Agriculture qualifying night of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. Caleb Henry fastest so far, 16.453. Jimmy Light second at a 16.599. Cole Macedo third at a 16.650. Anthony Macri and Parker Price Miller, your 5 fastest. As group number 3 rolls onto the speedway, they are led out by car number 48. That is the Weikert's Livestock RV 4-wheel drive. Derek Snyder, Self-Made Racing at York Excavating, entry driver out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Danny Dietrich.
From Indianola, Iowa, driving the Wilco Services TI-22 Performance Linville Repair Team DGRD, car number 6W, that's Dustin Selvage.
And from Ankeny, Iowa, in the C&D Elevator Construction Higher View Enterprises, Young Coat Builders, Tom Davis Automotive, number 44, Chris Martin.
From Watertown, Connecticut, to Houston Speedway, BillionAuto.com, Jackson Motorplex, High Performance Lubricants, JRC Transportation, car number 2 of David Gravel.
And from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, in car number 49X, the Redzik Excavating, DNR Racing, Centerline Boring Smith Titanium entry for the Steel City Outlaw, Tim Schaefer.
From Clute, Texas, driving the Fulkins Brothers Trucking, STC Global, Commercial Edge, Rasmussen Service Center, American Table. Car number 87 of Aaron Reitzel.
And car number 19H, the Sheedy Coolers, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, Blackburn Construction, Smokers First Cigar Bar entry, driver to Santa Rosa, California, Joel Myers Jr.
From Sanborn, Minnesota, the Trom Farms, Joel Pinion Trucking, Wonder Check Ag Service, Anderson Farms, Golden Harvest, car number 24T, that's Christopher Trom.
And from McLarenville, South Australia, the Levick Motorsports, West River Trailer Sales, Olson Towing, Kofoid Air, High Performance Lubricants, number 10 of Scott Boguski. Green flag waving on practice session number 3. Saw our first 16-second laps in the second practice session. Do we see the 15s here? Caleb Henry closest so far, but now Boguski just missing out on a 15 at a 16.057. David Gravel, the first into the 15-second range. Gravel turning a 15.995. Boguski just behind him. Tim Schaefer third fastest. Now Aaron Reitzel tops everybody with a 15.833. Boguski takes the top spot back at a 15.800.
Dustin Selvage moves into the third spot, now back to fourth as David Gravel goes quickest, 15.632. Boguski, Aaron Reitzel third, 15.834. Dustin Selvage, Tim Schaefer up into the top 5, 16.055. Danny Dietrich now into the 15-second bracket. He's fourth quickest, 15.886.
So David Gravel now atop the speed chart at a 15.632. Scott Boguski second quick at a 15.800. Aaron Reitzel third. We saw an 0.8 of a second improvement in lap times from group number 2 to group number 3. Group number 4 now making their way onto the speedway. First to hit the racetrack out of Overland Park, Kansas in the J.B. Henderson Construction at Mesilla Valley Transportation, Smith Titanium Miller Bonded, 45X Chase Park.
From Clovis, California, driving the Driven to Save Lives, Four Seas Construction, Autry Plumbing, SynCal, Driven to Save Lives, car number 14 of Corey Day.
And from Worcester, Ohio, the NOS Energy Drink, West Tennessee Expediting Frozen Farmer Maximum Oil, number 17 of Sheldon Hodenshield.
Buddy Kofoid pushing off in the car number 83 Junior from Pengrove, California. Buddy drives a TRD Mobile 1, Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation, 83 Junior.
And working his way into corner number 2 now. From Fresno, California, the Logan Contractor Supply, Hawkeye Truck Equipment Team Excavating, BSM Enterprises, number 18, Hot Sauce, Giovanni Scelzi.
Carson McCarl rolling onto the racetrack now from Altoona, Iowa. The Jetco, Blondie Motorsports, Prosper Real Estate, DeBerg Concrete, Aggressive Hydraulics, car number 27.
And from Myerstown, Pennsylvania, the M&M Painting and Construction, McGrewBid.com, Babs Auto Paint, Livewire Customs, number 19 of Brent Marks.
From Sydney, New South Wales, driving the City State Bank Tyloo, Midwest Seamless, Vortex Racing Products, car number 2X, that's Linton Jeffrey.
And from Huron, South Dakota, the It's Showtime, Terwilliger Electric Olympic Motors, number 2K, Kevin Ingle. Green flag waving on practice session number 4. Gear change taking place down in the pit area on the number 23 machine for Garrett Williamson. As we see if we make it down into the 14-second range in warm-ups. David Gravel closest so far with a 15.632. Might be asking a little much here, but we'll see how things go. White flag already displayed, so a very quick green-white checkered practice session for these drivers. Sheldon Hodgson quickest so far at a 16.553.
Brent Marks, 16.674. Now Corey Day goes to the 7th spot as Linton Jeffrey goes quickest, 15.323.
Sheldon Hodgson third quick at a 15.677. Buddy Kofoid now in the 4th spot, and Gio Scelzi second quick. Brent Marks takes that spot from him. Jeffrey, Marks, and Scelzi 1, 2, and 3 as they wave the checkered flag.
So the track definitely coming in nicely here as we're getting some low 15-second laps now. Linton Jeffrey, Brent Marks, Gio Scelzi, David Gravel, and Sheldon Hodenshield, the top 5.
Sammy Swindell making preparations for Seafoam qualifying as the 5th practice session rolls onto the speedway. From Waco, Texas, in the all-by-your alternative, Iowa Barnstormers, Des Moines Industrial Products, Central Iowa Sheds, Jersey Freeze, number 2KS, Chase Randall.
From Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Pels Tire Service, RF Knox Company, Auto Barn, RSI Outdoor Shark Racing, car number 1A of Jacob Allen.
And from 6 Miles, South Carolina, in the Tariff Apparel, Reynolds Farms, Black Swamp Trucking, Van Recken Motorsports, number 10V, Brian Paulus.
From Des Moines, Iowa, driving the Interstate Batteries Hy-Vee Perks RX Delta Dental Autojet, car number 55T, that's McKenna Hassey.
And from Monrovia, Indiana, the Pella Windows, Big Spring Car Wash, Water Treatment by Design, CoastalRaceParts.com, number 13 of Justin Peck.
From Fargo, North Dakota, the CarQuest Ford Performance Curb, Sage Fruit, Elias Custom Trailers and Carts, car number 15 of Donnie Schatz.
And from Enumclaw, Washington, driving the Casey Kane Racing with Mike Kerr, Brumos Collection, Factory Kane, Shocks, Kane Screen Print, number 9, it's Casey Kane.
From Lubbock, Texas, driving the Taco Casa, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Burkham Contracting, Scott Baylor Racing Engines, car number J2 of John Carney II.
Green flag waving on practice session number 5 of the 6 scheduled here this evening. Justin Peck, a 16.0. Chase Randall, a 15.526. Second quickest so far in warm-ups. Donnie Schatz now takes that spot from Randall at a 15.354.
Casey Kane into the 8th spot, 15.749. John Carney into the 13th position, 15.877. Now Justin Peck 6th, and Chase Randall goes quicker into the 2nd spot, 15.347.
Checkered flag waving on practice session number 5. Chase Randall, the fastest driver in that session, second quickest overall so far, 15.346 seconds at 120.813 miles per hour for the average speed. Linton Jeffrey still the quickest so far, Randall second, Donnie Schatz now third, Brent Marks fourth, and Giovanni Scelzi completing the top 5 as we get set to roll the final practice session of the evening onto the speedway. Looks like a potential issue for the 3P of Sawyer Phillips. Wing and hood off of that car as they push it on the apron in turns 1 and 2, trying to fire the engine. Group number 6 now rolling onto the speedway. From Fairmount, Indiana, the TI-22 Performance Linville Repair New Era Plumbing 6B of Brandon Wimmer.
From Knoxville, Iowa, driving the Accurate Machine Works, Pella Motors, Cluck Paving and Seal Coating, Randall Roofing, car number 4W of Jamie Ball.
From Bloomington, Indiana, piloting the Premier Motorsports, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Lumber and Things, Border Tire number 70, Craig Kinzer.
From Jonestown, Pennsylvania, the Moose Scelzi, Heavy Equipment, C&D Rigging, Milton Hershey, Adamski Trucking, High Performance Lubricants, car number 3Z of Brock Zierfoss.
And from Leduc, Alberta, Canada, the Warrior Building Development, Building Packages, Direct Nelson Brothers Construction, Pack Rat Dumpsters number 99 of Skylar G.
From LaGrange, Ohio, the Heat Star, Cherry's Outdoor World, Chalk Sticks, Elite Wings, Mr. Heater, car number 11M, it's Casey Jedrzejek.
And from Burlington, Iowa, the Schaefer Construction, Dennis Woodworth Attorney, Flex Suites on Naples, Rexco Equipment, Maxim Trucking, number 15, Junior of Cole Meinzer. So the final practice session of the evening, getting set to roll at the Knoxville Raceway Brandt Professional Agriculture Qualifying Night of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. Last chance for somebody at the top. Linton Jeffries, 15.323 in warm-ups here this evening. Craig Kinzer, fastest in this group so far, 15.633. That's into the top 10 overall. Jamie Ball at a 15.693, 11th fastest overall. Checkered flag waving. Craig Kinzer, the fastest driver in that final practice session. 9th quickest overall, 15.633 seconds. Linton Jeffrey, fastest overall in warm-ups this evening at a 15.323. Chase Randall, 2nd. Donnie Schatz, 3rd. Brent Marks, 4th. Gio Scelzi, 5th. And Casey Kane, 6th. Justin Peck, 7th. David Gravel, 8th. Craig Kinzer, 9th. And Sheldon Hodenshield 10th. Go down to the infield and a report from Connor Wade.
And one of the major storylines coming into this week has been the car that the 1983 Knoxville Nationals winner Sammy Swindell is running. This is an experimental car. If you look at all corners of the race car, you'll notice no torsion bars, no torsion arms. Coilover suspension on all 4 corners. There's no torsion arms. There's some other bar in place. And then if you look at the right front as they roll the car back, you'll notice all the radius rods are inside the frame, and the right front shock is actually located inside the frame as well. So a very unique car built by fabricator Fleet Ruzet and Memphis area crew chief Sean Wood. A very unique ride Sammy Swindell has for the Nationals. The crew told me earlier today they don't know if this thing's going to be fast. It might be, and they said it also might suck. They're just going to figure it out as they go. But Sammy getting ready to push out for qualifying.
Thanks so much, Connor Wade. If there's ever a driver that can make a unique build work, it's Sammy Swindell. As famous as he is for his skills behind the wheel, equally as skilled as a builder, and you combine him with Fleet Ruzek, who is basically an artist when it comes to fabrication. And those two are coming up with something unique, and like I said, it could be something that blows everybody else's wings off, or it could be something that they struggle with all week. We'll find out here very shortly as we get set for Seafoam qualifying. 2 cars at a time on the speedway, 2 consecutive laps on the clock. Faster of those 2 laps scored is that driver's official qualifying time. We use the qualifying times for the heat races this evening, where we will invert 8. And of course, 200 qualifying points to this evening's fastest qualifier as pair number 1 works onto the speedway.
Thanks, Johnny. First 2 cars begin to roll onto the racetrack now. From T, South Dakota, the Octane 8 State Bank of Fairmont, Dammer Trucking, Frankman Motor Company, West River Trailer Sales, car number 09. That's Matt Jewell. And from Springfield, Nebraska, the Essenson Incentive Racing, True Line Logistics, Arai Yamalu, Backlund Plumbing, car number 14J, that's Jack Dover. Jack Dover in the 14J. Matt Jewell, one of our 988 Lifeline competitors here in weekly competition, 7th in the Knoxville points. Jack Dover has been to victory lane once this season in 360 competition at the Off-Road Speedway. First lap time coming up here for Matt Jewell, 15.431, and for Jack Dover, 15.762, 1.5762. Lap number 2 for Matt Jewell, 16.696, 1.6696. And lap number 2 for Jack Dover is better than his first, 15.738, 1.5738.
Next pair of Seafoam qualifiers working their way onto the speedway now from Jacksonville, Oregon. The Boss Shane DeWalt Trucking, S-Tech Carbon Works, TZ Custom Truck Accessories, number 18T of Tanner Holmes. And along with him from Knoxville, Iowa, the QTC Goodnow Promotion, Stivers Ford Lincoln, Schilling Excavating, 22 of Riley Goodnow. Tanner Holmes in 18T, Riley Goodnow in the number 22. Holmes a winner at Southern Oregon Speedway in NARC competition. Riley Goodnow's best finish here this season, a 12th place run on July 27th. Opening lap for Holmes, a 15.738, 1.5738. First lap time for Riley Goodnow is a 15.823, 1.5823. Tanner Holmes on lap number 2. An 15.813, first lap better at 15.738. Riley Goodnow's second lap time is a 15.907. He'll stand on the first lap of 15.823.
Next to clock in from St. Mary's, New South Wales, the TK Concrete King Racing Products, Zip Bonds, Maxim Trucking and Materials, BR Motorsports. Car number 55, this is the Madman, Kerry Madsen. And from Germantown, Tennessee, the Eclipse Claim Consulting, TetherTech Safety USA, High Performance Lubricants, Apex Motorsports, car number 1 of Sammy Swindell. And Sammy way off the pace in turn number 4 as he pulls in. Kerry Madsen coming around for lap number 1. Kerry will stop the clock second quick, 15.669, 15669. Kerry currently 10th in the Knoxville point standings and finds himself in the 8th position in the Houston Speedway 410 standings. Kerry looking for his first victory of the season. He'll go a 15.826 on lap number 2, 15826.
Next to Seafoam qualifiers from Pleasantville, Iowa, the Ruan work for Ruan.com, Boyert and Course Show Cattle, Ulrich Ford number 3, Pete of Sawyer Phillips. And along with him from Cherryville, North Carolina, it's the Mid-Nebraska Land Developers, M&R Manufacturing, 18 Express Moss Racing Engines, number 23, M of Lance Moss. Sawyer Phillips in 3P, Lance Moss in 23M. Sawyer Phillips' best finish here this season, 7th on June 8. He owns 4 career 360 victories, including one on July 6th of this season. Lap 1 for Sawyer Phillips, 15.958, 15958. Lance Moss on lap 1 goes a 16.205, 16205. Moss finished 7th in the first C-Main at the Capitani Classic here on Sunday evening. Second lap time for Phillips a little better at a 15.898, 15898, still 6th so far. Lance Moss, second lap time, 16.295. First lap better at 16.205.
Rolling out next from Columbia, Missouri, the Fisher Body Shop, S&S Nationwide, LRI, Senex Eagle Stop, Sorrells Impact Signs, car number 23, that's Garrett Williamson. And from Sacramento, California, the Running Boxer Farms, Impressive Creations, Harris Distributing, car number 101, that's Caleb Henry. Garrett Williamson, a 3-time winner this season. Those wins coming here at the Knoxville Raceway on May the 18th and 2 times at the Houston Speedway. Caleb Henry, also a 3-time winner. First lap time for Garrett's third quick, 15.707, 15707. First lap time for Caleb is 7th quick, 15.834, 15834. Those 3 wins for Caleb Henry coming at the Fremont Speedway in 410 competition, June, July, and in August. Lap number 2 for Garrett, 16.345, 16345. And lap number 2 for Caleb Henry, 15.842, 15842.
Leading the next pair of Seafoam qualifiers onto the speedway from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. Driving the J&S Classics, Valley Supply, C&D Rigging, Randy Shearer, Heating and Plumbing, number 39M, Anthony Macri. And along with him from Lincoln, Nebraska, it's the Team Jack Foundation, Angler Machine and Tool, King Racing Products, Chopsticks, Schoenfeld, number 1M of Don Drow Jr. Anthony Macri in 39M, Don Drow Jr. in the number 1M. Macri this season 10th on June 1st, his best of 4 appearances at Knoxville. He's 3rd quick on lap 1, 15.672, 15672. Don Drown to 16.052, 16052 for the former Knoxville Raceway track record holder. Second lap time for Macri, 2nd quick at a 15.654, 15654. Don Drown Jr. second lap time, better as well at a 15.909, 15909.
Next to clock in from Lemoore, California, the Tarleton & Son Complete Parts and Equipment, Executive Auto Sales, Empire Machinery, Bandy & Associates, car number 21T, that's Cole Macedo. And from Lisbon, Indiana, the Horsepower Incorporated, Pennick Insurance, Donna's Pool and Patio, car number 23L of Jimmy Light. Jimmy Light in the 23L. Cole Macedo has been to victory lane 5 times this season. His best run at Knoxville was a 5th place on June the 8th. Jimmy Light has been in 4 features this season. His best was a 10th at Terre Haute in 410 action on May the 5th. First lap time for Cole Macedo, 15.878, 15.878. First lap time for Jimmy Light, 12th quickest, 16.135, 16.135. Lap number 2 for Cole Macedo, 16.022, 16.022. And an improvement on lap number 2 for Jimmy Light into the top 12, 16.060, 16.060.
Next two out for Seafoam qualifying from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. And the Smiley's race product, Glenn Stires Racing, Aces Up Sim Sports, CSR Garage, Scissortails Racing Development number 52. It's Blake Hahn. And paired with him from East Grand Forks, Minnesota, the Proceed Ag Serve, KW Repair, Phil Thompson and Associates, JW Repair, G50 Gage Polk Quebec. Blake Hahn in 52, Gage Polk Quebec in the G5. Blake Hahn, 5th in a prelim at last year's Nationals, his career best here at the Knoxville Raceway. Opening lap time for Hahn, 16.075, 16.075. First lap time for Gage Polkerbeck at a 16.459, 16.459. Polkerbeck's best finish here this season in 5 races, 19th on May 25th. Hahn's second lap, 16.095, first lap better at 16.075. And Gage Polkerbeck on lap number 2 is a 16.731, his first lap official at a 16.459.
Rolling out next from Fairland, Indiana, the Michael Dutcher Motorsports, Lifestyle Homes, Griffin's Propane, Parallax Motorsports, credit number 17 GP. That's Cale Thomas. And from Kokomo, Indiana, the Chalk Stick Torsion Bars, Elite Wings, Epoxico, High Performance Lubricants, credit number 9P. That's Parker Price Miller. Cale Thomas picked up 2 wins, both of those coming at the Fremont Speedway, one in April and one in July. Parker Price Miller looking for his first win of the season. Currently finds himself 7th in the High Limit Series point standings. First lap time for Thomas is a 16.250, 16.250. Lap number 1 for PPM is 14th quickest, 16.094, 16.094. Second lap time for Cale Thomas is better, still 16th quick, 16.207, 16.207. And lap number 2 for Parker Price Miller, 16.151, his first lap better, 16.094.
Next 2 Seafoam qualifiers. From Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the Weikert's Livestock RV 4-wheel drive, Derek Snyder Self-Made Racing, York Excavating 48 of Danny Dietrich. And from Ankeny, Iowa, the C&D Elevator Construction, Higher View Enterprises, Young Goat Builders, Tom Davis Automotive number 44 of Chris Martin. Danny Dietrich in 48, Chris Martin in the 44. Dietrich making his first Nationals appearance since 2021, best in the Nationals, 15th in 2015. Dietrich, a 10-time feature winner this season in sprint car competition. His opening lap is 15th quick at a 16.142, 16.142. For Chris Martin, the opening lap time is a 16.304, 16.304. Top 10 finish here for Chris Martin, 9th on May 25th of this year. Second lap time for Dietrich, better, 12th quick at a 16.024, 16.024. And for Chris Martin, the second lap time is better as well at a 16.260, 16.260.
Next to qualify, the current World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series point leader from Watertown, Connecticut to Houston Speedway, BillionAuto.com, Jackson Motorplex, High Performance Lubricants, JRC Transportation, car number 2 of David Gravel. And also on the racetrack, a former Knoxville Nationals champion from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, in the Rusnick Excavating, DNR Racing, Centerline Boring, Smith Titanium, car number 49X, the Steel City Outlaw, Tim Schaefer. David Gravel with 13 series wins this season, 14 wins overall. Tim Schaefer, 2 times a winner. One of those comes in a Rush Late model. He picked up that win on April the 20th. First lap time for David Gravel, 15.785, 15.785. Lap number 1 for Tim Schaefer, 16.481, 16.481. Second lap time for David Gravel is a 15.818, 15.818. He's still 7th quick. And lap number 2 for Tim Schaefer improves to 17th quickest, 16.107, 16.107.
Next two to make their way out from Clute, Texas, the Volkins Brothers Trucking, STC Global, Commercial Edge, Rasmussen Service Center, American Table number 87 of Aaron Reitzel. And along with him, from McLarenvale, South Australia, the Liebig Motorsports West River Trailer Sales, Olsen Towing, Comfort Air, High Performance Lubricants number 10 of Scott Boguski. Aaron Reitzel in 87, Scott Boguski in the number 10. Reitzel, 11 career wins at Knoxville, including May 4th and July 20th of this year. First lap time for Aaron Reitzel, 14th quick, 16.050, 16.050. Boguski's first lap time, 9th fastest at a 15.828, 15.828. Boguski got his first career Knoxville win on July 6th of this year. Second lap time for Aaron Reitzel is not as good as a 16.113. First lap faster at 16.050. Boguski's second lap, 15.967. He'll stay with lap 1 at a 15.828.
From Sanborn, Minnesota, the Trom Farms, Joel Pinion Trucking, Wonder Check Ag Service, Anderson Farms, Golden Harvest, credit number 24T. That's Christopher Trom. Christopher Trom in the 24T. And from Santa Rosa, California, the Sheedy Coolers, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, Blackburn Construction, Smoker's First Cigar Bar, credit number 19H. That's Joel Myers Jr. Joel Myers Jr. in the 19H. Christopher Trom, currently 5th in the Cressman Sanitation 410 Outlaw Sprints at the Houston Speedway. First lap time for Christopher Trom, 16.027, 16.027. First lap time for Myers is a 16.456, 16.456. Joel Myers picked up a top 5 finish, a best of 2nd this season at Paragon Speedway in fast sprint competition. Lap number 2 for Trom improves, 14th quickest, 16.019, 16.019. And lap number 2 for Joel Myers also improves, 16.439, 16.439.
Next pair onto the speedway from Clovis, California, in the Driven to Save Lines, Four Seas Construction, Autry Plumbing, Sencal number 14, it's Corey Day. And along with him, from Indianola, Iowa, the Wilco Services, TI-22 Performance, Linville Repair Team, DGRD, number 6W of Dustin Selvage. Corey Day in the 14, Dustin Selvage in the 6W. Day with the World of Outlaws victory here. June of this year, lap number 1 for Corey Day is 8th quick at a 15.809, 15.809. First lap time for Dustin Selvage, 16.651, 16.651. Corey Day on lap 2, 15.817. First lap slightly better at 15.809. Dustin Selvage, 16.263, 16.263.
From Myerstown, Pennsylvania, the next car to qualify, the M&M Painting and Construction, McGrewbid.com, Baps Auto Paint, Livewire Customs, car number 19, that's Brent Marks. Also on the racetrack now from Pengrove, California, the TRD Mobile One, Roth Motorsports, Roth Enterprises, HR Livestock Transportation, 83 Junior of Buddy Kofoid. Brent Marks is a 4-time High Limit Sprint Series winner this season. Buddy Kofoid having a good season as well with the World of Outlaws. His first lap time for Brent Marks is a 15.945. Buddy's coming up now. His first lap time is a 15.876. Buddy, a feature winner this season, currently finds himself 5th in the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series point standings. Lap number 2 for Brent Marks improves to 12th quickest, 15.839, 15.839. Buddy had his hands full there in turn 4. His second lap not near as good, 16.501. His first lap will be his qualifying time, 15.876.
Next two on the speedway for Seafoam qualifying. From Fresno, California, the Logan Contractor Supply Hawkeye Truck Equipment Team Excavating, BSM Enterprises, number 18, Hot Sauce, Giovanni Scelzi. And from Huron, South Dakota, the It's Showtime Terwilliger Electric Olympic Motors, number 2K, Kevin Engel. Giovanni Scelzi in the 18, Kevin Engel in the number 2K. Scelzi's 4th place run on Saturday last year equaled his best in 5 Nationals feature starts. He owns 4 career victories right here at the Knoxville Raceway. Lap 1 for Gio is 10th quick at a 15.825, 15825. Kevin Ingles opening lap was 17.296, 17296. Second time around for Gio Scelzi at a 15.863, first lap better at 15.825. And lap 2 for Kevin Ingles goes 17.581, his first lap better at 17.296.
A pair of 988 Lifeline 410 Knoxville regulars next to qualify from Altoona, Iowa. In the Jetco, Blondie Motorsports, Prosper Real Estate, Divert Concrete, Aggressive Hydraulics, car number 27, that's Carson McCarl. And from Overland Park, Kansas, the J.B. Henderson Construction, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Smith Titanium, Miller Bonded, car number 45X of Jace Park. Carson McCarl picked up his first 410 feature win here at Knoxville back on June the 8th. Finds himself currently third in weekly competition point standings. Jace Park, 20th in the standings. He's got one top 5 finish that came at the Lake Ozark Speedway, where he finished third. Carson McCarl, 16.027 on lap number 1, 16027. First lap time for Jace Park, 16.320, 16320. Lap number 2 for Carson is better, 18th quickest, 15.986, 15986. And lap number 2 for Jace Park also improves, 16.279, 16279.
First out in the next pairing of Seafoam qualifiers from Worcester, Ohio, the NOS Energy Drink, West Tennessee Expediting Frozen Farmer, Maximum Oil, number 17 of Sheldon Hot and Shield. And joining him from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, in the City State Bank, Tyler Midwest Seamless Vortex Racing Products, number 2X Linton Jeffrey. Sheldon Hodenshield in the 17, Linton Jeffrey in the 2X. Sheldon, a 2021 winner here at the Knoxville Raceway, finished 18th Sunday night in the Capitani Classic. Linton Jeffrey, 6 career Knoxville victories. Lap 1 for Sheldon, 16th quick, 15.888, 15888. Linton Jeffrey's opening lap time, 19th fastest at a 15.930, 15930. Sheldon on lap number 2, 7th quick at a 15.783, 15783. Second lap time for Linton Jeffrey is 12th quickest at a 15.828, 15828.
Rolling out next from Monrovia, Indiana, the Pella Windows and Doors, Big Spring Car Wash, Water Treatment by Design, CoastalRaceParts.com, car number 13, that's Justin Peck. And from Hanover, Pennsylvania, the Pell's Tire Service, RF Knox Company, Auto Barn, RSI Outdoors, Shark Racing 1A, that's Jacob Allen. Justin Peck, a 20 top 5 feature finishes for him. Still looking for that first victory of the season. Jacob Allen, however, has been to victory lane 4 times this year. Those wins coming at Golden Isles, Terre Haute, Baps Motor Speedway, and Bloomington Speedway. First lap time for Justin Peck, 15.962, 15962. First lap time for Jacob Allen, 15.973, 15973. Lap number 2 for Justin Peck is a 16.345, 16345. And lap number 2 for Jacob Allen is a 16.076, 16076.
Leading your next 2 Seafoam qualifiers onto the speedway from Des Moines, Iowa. Driving the Interstate Batteries, Hy-Vee Perks RX Delta Dental Auto Jet, number 55, T. McKenna Hassey. And from 6 Mile, South Carolina, the Terra Apparel, Reynolds Farms, Black Swamp Trucking, Van Der Ecken Motorsports, number 10V of Brian Paulus. McKenna Hassey in 55T, Brian Paulus in the 10V. McKenna Hassey, 2 career victories here in 360 competition. Best finish of the season, 18th at the Lernerville Speedway in Pennsylvania. McKenna's opening lap time is 22nd quickest, 15.974, 15974. Brian Paulus, a top 10 finisher here in the 2005 Nationals finale. His 38th quick on lap 1, 17.034, 17034. McKenna's second lap time, 16.251. First lap better at 15.974. And for Brian Paulus, the second lap time goes better at a 16.889, 1.6889.
From Enumclaw, Washington, the Casey Kane Racing with Mike Kerr, Brumos Collection, Factory Kane Shocks, Kane Screen Print, car number 9, that's Casey Kane. And also on the racetrack from Waco, Texas, the all-ball your alternative Iowa Barnstormers, Des Moines Industrial Products, Central Iowa Shed, Jersey Freeze, car number 2KS, that's Chase Randall. Chase Randall in the 2KS. Casey Kane's best run this season has been a 5th in 360 competition. That came here at the Knoxville Raceway on August the 2nd. Chase Randall, a weekly competitor in the 988 Lifeline 410 Sprint Car Series here. He's 8th in the point standings. First lap time for Casey Kane, 15.983, 1.5983. First lap time for Chase is a 15.953, 1.5953. Chase has 4 wins here this season. 3 here, 1 at the Jackson Motorplex. One of his wins here was in 360 competition. Lap number 2 for Casey Kane, 16.387, 1.6387. And lap 2 for Chase Randall, 16.244, 1.6244.
Leading the next pair out onto the speedway from Fargo, North Dakota, the CarQuest Ford Performance Curb, Sage Fruit, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, number 15 of Donnie Schatz. And from Lubbock, Texas, the Taco Casa, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Berkham Contracting, Scott Baylor Racing Engines, J2 of John Carney II. Donnie Schatz in the 15, John Carney in the J2. 11 victories, 19 top 2 finishes in 24 Nationals features for Donnie Schatz. John Carney's 7th place run here in 2023, the best of his 14 career Knoxville starts. Lap 1 for Donnie Schatz, 33rd quick, 16.181, 1.6181. John Carney, 16.469, 1.6469. Second time by for Donnie Schatz. Not as good as 16.273. First lap better at 16.181. John Carney, 16.185, 1.6185. That is 34th quickest so far.
From Jonestown, Pennsylvania, the Mooses LZ Heavy Equipment, CND Rigging, Milton Hershey, Adamski Trucking, High Performance Lubricants, car number 3Z, that's Brock Zierfoss. And from LaGrange, Ohio, the Heat Star, Cherries Outdoor World Chalk Sticks Elite Wings Mr. Heater, car number 11N of Casey Jedrzak. Casey Jedrzak in the 11N. Brock Zierfoss currently 9th in the World of Outlaw point standings. He's 11 top 10 finishes, 1 top 5 finish this season. Casey Jedrzak has been to Victory Lane 4 times this season, 2 at Crystal Motor Speedway, 1 win at Limaland and 1 at Waynesfield. Zierfoss, 16.036 on lap number 1, 1.6036. Casey Jedrzak, 16.856, 1.6856. Lap number 2 for Brock Zierfoss is better, 26th quickest, 16.006, 1.6006. And Jedrzak way off the pace coming down the front chute here, 17.398 on his second lap. His first lap was better, 16.856.
Just a handful of Seafoam qualifiers left. Nobody's been able to touch Matt Jules, 15.431. Anthony Macri second, Kerry Madsen third, Garrett Williamson fourth, and Jack Dover rounding out the top 5. And definitely a night where you wanted the early number in the pill draw for Seafoam qualifying. So Casey Jedrzak's car will come to a stop on the apron on the inside of corner number 3. Tanner Holmes, 6th fastest so far. Sheldon Hodgeshield, 7th. David Gravel, 8th. Corey Day, 9th. And Riley Goodnow rounds out the top 10. Two more drivers out for Seafoam qualifying. Rolling forward now from Bloomington, Indiana. In the Premier Motorsports, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Lumber and Things, Border Tire number 70, it's Craig Kinzer. And from Leduc, Alberta, Canada, to Warrior Building Development, Building Packages, Direct Nelson Brothers Construction, Pack Rat Dumpsters, number 99, Skylar G. Craig Kinzer in the number 70, Skylar G in the number 99. 2005 Knoxville Nationals winner, Craig Kinzer. 3 career victories overall here at the Knoxville Raceway. Skylar G, an Attica feature winner this season, scratched from the C-Main Sunday night at the Capitani Classic. Lap 1 for Craig Kinzer, 31st quick at a 16.062, 16062. Skylar G's first lap time, 39th fastest, 16.225, 16225. Craig Kinzer on lap 2, 16.431. First lap official at 16.062. Second lap for Skylar G goes 16.514. His first lap better as well to 16.225.
Rolling off next from Fairmount, Indiana, the TI-22 Performance Linville Repair New Era Plumbing, car number 6B. That's Brandon Wimmer. Brandon Wimmer in the 6B. And from Burlington, Iowa, the Schaefer Construction, Dennis Woodworth, attorney at law, Flex Suites on Naples, Rexco Equipment, Maxim Trucking, 15 Junior of Cole Meitzer. Cole Meitzer in the 15 Junior. Cole, one of our weekly competitors here at the Knoxville Raceway. Brandon Wimmer has been to Knoxville a few times this season. He's picked up 2 wins, one of those at East Moline Speedway in 360 competition in June. First lap time for him is a 16.144, 16144. First lap time for Meitzer is a 16.424. Brandon's other win came in Ohio Heating 410 competition at the Atomic Speedway on July the 6th. Lap 2 for Brandon Wimmer, 16.241, 16241. And lap number 2 for Cole Meitzer, 16.537, 16537.
Final pair of Seafoam qualifiers rolling out now from Sunnyvale, Texas. The Town Line Variety Hybrid Foundation Service, TrueNorth.BetCigarPort.ca, number 15H of Sam Haferteep Jr. And from Knoxville, Iowa, in the Victory Fuel, Accurate Machine Works, Pella Motors, Click Paving and Seal Coating, Randall Roofing, Fort W, Jamie Ball. Sam Haferteep in 15H, Jamie Ball in the Fort W. Haferteep, a winner with the Elite ASCS Series at Kennedale, Texas. 9.360 wins this season. First lap time for Haferteep, 16.149, 16149. Jamie Ball's opening lap time is a 16.216, 16216. Ball, a 10-time winner here in 360 action, including May 31st of this year. Haferteep's second lap, 16.232. First lap official with 16.149. Jamie Ball up to 37th quick at a 16.168, 16168. And with that, Seafoam qualifying has concluded for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on Brent Professional Agriculture qualifying night at the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's. And your Simpson QuickTime Award winner here this evening, Matt Jewell in the 09 at 15.431 seconds and 120.148 miles per hour. Anthony Macri, second quick at a 15.654. Kerry Madsen, third at a 15.669. Garrett Williamson, fourth, and Jack Dover in the 5th spot. Sheldon Hodgkill timing in the 7th spot. David Gravel in 8th. Corey Day 9th, and Riley Goodnow rounding out the top 10. In a fairly interesting session of Seafoam qualifying here this evening.
Definitely wanted to go out early. Let's give away some Casey's popcorn real quick. One lucky row will get 10 bags. H29, section H, row 29, you will receive 10 free bags of Casey's popcorn from our friends at Casey's. Our winner tonight will also receive Casey's popcorn down in Casey's Victory Lane.
So heat race lineups being calculated now. And believe the two drivers that will not be in heat race competition this evening, Kevin Ingle and Sammy Swindell, will take the top 50 from Seafoam qualifying to our 5 heat races. Send it down, Mr. Connor Wade.
What a start to the night for the driver of the 09, Matt Jewell, laying down a fast lap. Talk to me about that lap you laid down.
Yeah, obviously a draw is huge here, so got lucky with the draw there and put together one good lap there. The second lap there was kind of got down too far in the mud, and so luckily I got that first lap in, and now I just made it tough myself in the heat race here, but we've got a good position here. Just need to do some work in the heat and see where we can end up.
Matt Jewell gets quick time here on night number 1. Now, we normally interview fast time as a part of opening ceremonies, but during opening ceremonies, you're actually going to see Matt carrying the United States flag, so that's why we're going to interview him beforehand. He'll be out on the track during opening ceremonies as he is ready to represent the USA in the national anthem just in a little bit. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Connor Wade. So Matt Jewell, the fastest in Seafoam qualifying, getting that Simpson Quick Time Award here tonight. And the heat races are going to be interesting to say the least. There are going to be some pretty big names starting toward the front of the field in heat race action, which we don't see all that often here at the Knoxville Nationals. A look at David Gravel down in the pit area, the winningest sprint car driver in America so far in 2024. And as soon as we have our heat race lineups, we'll let you know who is starting where. Again, going to be fairly interesting with those qualifying points on the line. Remember, 200 points for the fastest qualifier in Seafoam qualifying, dropping by 2 points per position. The heat races pay 100 points to the winner, and they drop by 3 points per position. And then back to 200 points for tonight's feature winner, again down by 2 after that.
Back in the Dirt Vision studio, I am Dave Reef, and we hope you enjoyed Dirt Vision's free peer view of the Sage Fruit stage, as well as hot laps and qualifying for night number 1 of the NOS Energy Drink Knoxville Nationals. A total of 52 drivers took their shot, adding their name to the list of Knoxville Nationals winner. Qualifying tonight, still heat racing and feature racing to come. But the one thing that we do know is that it's Estherville, Iowa's Matt Jewell that is the only driver tonight that remains eligible for the perfect night of 500 points. How about the youngster? He actually had the field covered by 0.2 of a second. That's the 09 car. Top left of your screen. Congratulations to him for getting the Quick Time Award tonight. And if you know, well, let's face it, you already know the heats at the Knoxville Nationals are amongst the best you will see the entire season, and they are being tabulated right now. But just as it was today, tomorrow's Day 2 qualifying and Friday's Hard Knocks pre-race coverage is available once again free of charge to everybody at home, beginning with the Sage Fruit Day show to our studio pre-race through hot laps and qualifying. Both nights, the action begins at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, while all the rest of our annual pass subscribers and pay-per-view participants continue on with the completion of tonight's race, well, if you like what you've seen, then head to dirtvision.com for details on how you can watch the rest of the Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's and a whole lot more, because let's face it, Dirt Vision is the exclusive home to 7 National Series and 12 weekly racetracks, and as I mentioned, so much more. We are proud to bring you the greatest shows on dirt.